Head-to-head this season, the Astros have bested the Rangers to the tune of 10-4. In the spirit of what have you done for me lately, the Rangers are in the midst of playing their best baseball this season with 5 straight series wins. The defending world champions, well, winless in 3 straight. They say it's not who you play, but when you play them. And with that in mind, state bragging rights up for grabs tonight. Beltre, Altuve, next. Well, the Silver Boot Series returns for the final time this summer here to Arlington. Rangers and Astros in the opening game of a quick 2-game set. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you once again. I am Dave Raymond alongside CJ Nitkowski. The Silver Boot Series, as we just said, Rangers playing some good baseball. They've won 11 of their last 14 games. They've won 5 straight series. And now getting ready for the defending world champs. And kind of fitting when you talk about Texas bragging rights on the line, that our starting pitchers tonight are named Austin and Dallas.
And it worked out perfectly. And of course, Ranger fans are very familiar with Dallas Keuchel going tonight for the Houston Astros and the success that he has had over the course of his career, but that really hasn't translated here at Globe Life Park. And so you look at that as some good news for this evening. You see the 13 starts and the ERA up over 5. That opponent's batting average better than 300. So the Rangers have had success against Keuchel here. That is something that they expect to continue. That sinker ball pitcher, the ground ball rate not as good as it has been, and so we'll certainly keep an eye on that this evening. And going for the Rangers, Austin Bibbins-Dirks really taking advantage of an opportunity that he has gotten, one that kind of came as a surprise. And look what he has done over his last 2 starts. The record, the ERA, all that stuff sticks out, but maybe more than anything, the 14.7 pitches per inning for Austin. He has been extremely efficient. That is something certainly that the Rangers are happy with, and that he wants to continue doing this evening.
All right, so it should be a fun pitching matchup for us tonight here in the opening game. Now, Rangers playing well. The Astros, on the other hand, I mean, it can be a little misleading. They dropped 3 in a row. It's a team that has a half-game lead currently in the division, but Carlos Correa on the DL, Brian McCann on the DL, George Springer kind of playing hurt right now for this team. They have some studs in this lineup still tonight. They're not the big guys you'd think of. Well, let's start with Alex Bregman.
Well, this is what happens with the Astros, is they're a deep club and they have a deep roster. When you have that other guy step up, and Alex Bregman has been one of those guys that has been stepping up as of late. Look what he has done over his last 7 games. A really good batting average, but the 5 home runs is what sticks out. It's a guy that's got an excellent eye at the plate, does a good job of getting on base, but now he has added some power here as of late. And then the guy that has done it consistently over the course of his career, well, that of course has been Jose Altuve. And watching now the reigning MVP, look what he's done. Just one of 3 players so far this season that has been hitting at least 300 in every month of the season. We know what a thorn in the side he can be to the Rangers, and so for Austin Bibbins-Dirks, that's a tough guy he's going to have to go after this evening.
Their second baseman, one of the best in the game. Well, the Rangers' second baseman, Rougned Odor, he's heading stride right now, playing his best baseball of the year, and he's in the spotlight when we come back.
Welcome back to Globe Life Park, and you just saw a little bit of Rougned Odor there. We're going to put him in our Shiner Box spotlight and what he has done as of late, especially over his last 12 games. Rugi is doing a very nice job. Check out the OPS at 961. He is getting on base. He's doing a really good job with the strike zone. And for a little bit more on the improvements that Rougned Odor has been making, let's throw it down to Emily Jones.
Yes, EJ, and talking to Rugi, asking him, what clicked for him and what has been the key to him being so good over these last 12 games. He said it's really not anything in particular. It's the kind of the confluence of events that happened as far as some mental things, some timing with his swing, and also some conversations with an old buddy, as he and Mike Napoli have been talking basically on a daily basis. He said they're either texting or talking every day. Nap, of course, having season-ending knee surgery, so he's got a lot of time on his hands to offer some insight to his old buddy, Rougned Odor.
That's cool. It's great. Guys do a good job of staying in touch over the years, but nice that he's still able to take some constructive things from those conversations as well. Well, we are set to go tonight. So let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Houston Astros. 55-31, as I mentioned earlier, a half-game lead over Seattle. Springer, Bregman, Altuve up at the top of things for Houston. Gurriel, Gaddis, and right fielder Josh Reddick in the middle. Max Stassi does the catching. Marwin Gonzalez at short. And then it's Kemp in left field rounding things out.
And it's Austin Bibbins-Dirks on the mound tonight for the Texas Rangers. We'll take a look at the pitch arsenal, what he has done so far this season. 14 fastballs 35% of the time, sliders, changeups, curveballs. He'll throw that two-seamer as well, but just 10% of the time. And one of the things that Austin has done extremely well, just one home run allowed so far this season. And you look at those secondary pitches, the changeup has been the best of the group, just a 185 batting average against.
Well, he's all set to go. First time he's started against Houston in his career. He pitched twice against them in relief. And for Bibbins-Dirks, it's his 5th start overall this year. 1 win, 1 loss, and a very respectable 3.57 ERA. So he is set. Springer, a dangerous leadoff man, steps in, and he's hacking at the first pitch, fouling it away for strike 1.
Something you always have to be careful with George Springer. You know he's going to be aggressive. You know he's going to be aggressive early, and so you can't just throw that first pitch cookie to start the game. And am I seeing that correctly? You just wrote on your scorecard?
Cookie. Oh, yes. 102 degrees at our first pitch today, which occurred at 7:08. Springer, another big hack, pops it up near first base. And that one handled easily by Guzman, 1 away.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by DeMontron RV. In the outfield, Ryan Rua, Delino DeShields, and Nomar Mazara in right. And for your infield this evening, Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrus, Rougned Odor, Ronald Guzman back at first base, just activated off the concussion DL, and Robinson Chirinos is behind the plate.
But yes, CJ, 102.
So I saw Steve put it on a sign, show it to you. I saw you write it down. I still double-taked on both of them. That is correct. Wow.
Well, here's Bregman, and he takes a strike. 277 average, 16 home runs, 53 RBIs. Now, those numbers in aggregate, they look fine. Hardly tell the story. This is the hottest guy right now in this lineup. The American League Player of the Month. He was also the Player of the Week last week. That's a guy who has homered now in 5 of his last 7 games. So a dangerous hitter for Houston, batting in the 2nd spot in the order. Chokes up a little on the bat. And takes just a smidge low, 2-1.
So with both of these starters, it will be interesting. These are guys that pitch to contact but are looking for weak contact. In the case of Austin Bibbins-Dirks, and really the same thing for Dallas Keuchel, they need the edges of the strike zone called for them. You start to get them on the plate a little bit more, that's when they can run into a little bit of trouble. So those corners really important to both starters this evening.
Yeah, there's a low strike. Evens things up at 2-2. How about Bregman against right-handed pitchers lately? 11 of his last 16 hits have gone for extra bases. Not just home runs exclusively these days for Bregman. He's 2nd in the American League with 27 doubles. And he shoots this one just over at first. That's a base hit. So all the talk of the hot bat and the power, the extra bases. And that one, just a butterfly of a base hit into right field.
Yeah, he just fights this ball off, that little kind of inside-out swing. As much as he has been slugging against righties, they want to go inside. And this ball was down and a little bit in, but maybe not far enough. But still a good pitch and not a ball that was hit very hard at all. But Bregman's a good contact hitter, and he did enough to get himself a base hit.
Oh, 8 stolen bases this year for Bregman in 12 tries. Bibbins-Dirks would do well to keep a close eye on him, but you can't get too distracted with Altuve at the plate. The Astros are up there hacking early on here. Everybody going after that first pitch. And you see Altuve leading the American League with that .338 average. And he's had to make a little push to get there. 51 hits in his last 35 games, nearly a .390 average during that stretch. And yet, as we described their lineup, he's not the hottest guy. Bregman really kind of holds that honor. Also, partly because that's sort of what Altuve does consistently and has in his career. Shows bunt and drops one right out in front of the mound. Good play by Bibbins-Dirks. Get Altuve. The sacrifice, as it will be scored, moves Bregman to second base.
You giving him a sack?
I'm not sure that's what they're going to score.
Really? Now, I think for me, and I understand why, and it does happen, but at this point, with one out and your 3-hole hitter, he's certainly trying to get himself a base hit. And this one bunted back pretty much right back to Bibbins-Dirks, but he knows he still has to hurry as he barehands that and gets Jose Altuve out in plenty of time. And I'm with you. I do believe that they score it that way. But the reality is Jose Altuve is really only thinking about a hit. The idea of trying to push a runner into scoring position with one out when you're the 3-hole hitter. Well, who knows? Maybe they'll do the right thing and just call it a 1-3. What do you think? No?
No. Gurriel takes one just a little bit high for a ball. No, they in fact, they've already announced that they scored it at sacrifice. It's
Wow.
You almost never see it anymore, right? Where they just score to put out.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that, to me, is that you have a real hard time making any sense of it being a sacrifice. Situationally, the individual involved,
Yeah.
you know,
I wonder about
stage of the
that.
game, etc. It just
Yeah.
doesn't make a lick of sense that anybody would be sacrificing there.
And I think that makes it interesting, too, from an official scorer standpoint. Should he take those situations and all those variables into consideration, or do you just try to call it straight across the board regardless? But I think if it's not a pitcher that's up the plate, if there's one out, there's no way that Jose Altuve was giving Austin Bibbins-Dirks an out here in the first inning intentionally.
Gurriel fights one off in the count 1-2.
If he was ice cold and he was a really bad hitter, but then he probably wouldn't be hitting third anyway at that point. And then, of course, taking into consideration where the Astros are analytically and what has happened to the sacrifice bunt and how it's been something that has been frowned upon, saying essentially, you know, you're wasting an at-bat, you're giving that team an out, and you're decreasing your chances of scoring. All of that points in the favor of that not being ruled a sacrifice.
Well, and the Astros, you know, you make a nice point. I mean, you don't sacrifice in the National League anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was a day where you'd see a little more of that activity in the National League than you would in the American League. But you don't even see that in the National League anymore. And really, in the new age, if you will, of analytics, I mean, you can go back 20 years and teams had figured out mathematically that you don't improve your chances of scoring in that spot by sacrificing the runner to second. That said, Gurriel's going to get him home with this one to the gap in left field. For Gurriel, that'll be a double. Would have scored him from first anyway. But the Astros lead 1-0.
You see double number 24, Gurriel. And take a look at this pitch here from Austin Bibbins-Dirks, trying to get that a little bit further down and away, but Gurriel does a nice job and gets himself a decent pitch to handle. See the good balance in the swing as he hits that line drive in the gap for the easy double on RBI.
So he just trades places with Bregman, who scored the first run. Gurriel in scoring position now for Evan Gattis. Gattis had a big game on Sunday down in St. Petersburg. The Astros on the road here, and they dropped the last 3 against the Rays on the road. But this guy 2 for 4 with a couple of solo home runs on Sunday. 17 home runs on the year for Gattis, and 56 RBIs, most on the team, and 5th in the American League. It's 1-1. He looks, to me, Gattis, he looks a little like Hagrid from Harry Potter. That ball ripped into the seats, foul. 1-2 on Gattis. So Gattis, Pat, that's a pretty good ratio right there. 56 RBIs on just 62 hits. Now, he did not get off to a quick start this year. And he had just 8 RBIs in April. So that's 48 that he has driven in since the start of May, and that is most in Major League Baseball during that stretch of games. The DH. It's 2-2.
You bring up a good point. I think something to kind of notice there too with Gattis is he's taking advantage of the opportunities when he has them. It's a .252 overall batting average for him, but when he gets runners in scoring position, he's hitting .318. He has driven in 40 in those spots. That's the most on the Astros, and so we talk about that a lot. Guys that have a knack for hitting in big spots. Evan Gattis has taken full advantage of those opportunities this season.
Two. That is inside. Full count now on Gattis.
You know, because it doesn't tell the whole story. Right? We talk about runners in scoring position all the time. Say, well, does the batting average tell you everything? Not always. A guy might hit a sacrifice fly. You might get a runner over if you have first and second. And that's certainly quality at bats. But I kind of like looking at guys that are driving in runs when they have runners in scoring position. And those 40 that Evan Gattis has, that's tied for 8th in all of Major League Baseball.
Well, the payoff pitch, and the breaking ball misses. Gattis will take the 2-out walk. So Austin Bibbins-Dirks 20 pitches in to his first inning already. And that will get a visit. As Chirinos heads out there. So the first of the game used by the Rangers, and they'll have, of course, 6 total at their disposal.
Well, probably a good time to go ahead and give it to him. You got to be careful with this Rangers offense. They give you an out with HOU AT TEX, but that doesn't mean they're not capable of stringing a big inning together. And you know, Austin obviously with the walk there and 2 outs to Gattis after getting ahead. They want to just make sure they take a little bit of a breather. Do what they can to make sure that no more runs get across the board here in the first for the Astros.
Well, that's to deal with the left-handed hitting Josh Reddick here. And that one's a little bit in. You had the double by Gurriel already, who is the best in the business with runners in scoring position. And that means that the Astros tonight have more hits with runners in scoring position than they had in that 4-game series in Tampa. They were 0 for 14. The series.
For the entire 4-game series, you said? That's amazing that they only had 14 at bats with runners in scoring position over a 4-game series. And when you look at the numbers in the middle of this lineup, Bregman 368, Altuve 379, Gurriel 409, Gattis 318. Those are their batting averages with runners in scoring position. These guys do some damage in the middle of their order when they get those opportunities. And so that's probably a little bit of a tip of the cap to the Rays pitching staff handling a very tough Astros club with runners in scoring position.
Two and one the count on Reddick, who is another guy swinging a pretty hot bat. 345 average in his last 17 games. This ball hit well out to right field, and that one is carrying all the way to the wall. Gurriel is in. Gaddis will be stopped at third on the Reddick double. Houston will be content with a quick 2-0 lead and still building in this first.
Let's take a look at this pitch that led to the 9th double of the season for Josh Reddick, and this was a changeup, and you see where it ultimately finished, trying to go down and away, put that pitch on the corner, but this was a little bit more middle, and you see Reddick go out and kind of hook it to right field and hit this ball high off the wall and came off hard enough where Nomar Mazara had enough time to get it in quickly, and that was able to prevent Gaddis from scoring even with 2 outs.
So second and third with 2 away. Max Stassi, who has the job behind the plate today, and he takes inside for a ball. Stassi hitting .255, 7 homers, 22 RBIs, and Stassi's going to be handling a lot of the catcher's duties here for the foreseeable future. Chopper foul, 1-1. Brian McCann went to the disabled list, and they're just not real certain right now how long it'll be for McCann. Now that's not to say that they're, woe is me, thinking it could be 2-3 months. They don't know, but they're a little concerned right now that McCann's left knee, or rather right knee, could be a little more troublesome than they would want, which means a lot of Stassi and Fedorovich, who was Tim Fedorovich, called up and added to the roster today to take the spot of McCann. The two will likely share the duties. Gaddis, even though he's done a lot of catching in his career, they've kind of moved on from that concept. Talking to their manager AJ Hinch today before the ballgame, he didn't say it explicitly, but in not saying anything about Gaddis catching, I think he said as much as one needs. I don't think Gaddis has seen the defensive side of things since April.
Yeah, just 4 innings caught for Evan Gaddis this year, and that was in 2 games, and games that obviously were not starts. And so in emergency situations, yeah, you could probably throw him back there, but I think at this point, based on the other guys that they have, you will not see him putting on that gear, and he's done a nice job offensively, and so the idea of even slowing that down when you don't need him behind the plate certainly makes sense.
A little tight. Oh, that one got him. Just got a piece of Stassi, and so the bases will be loaded. And then the next question, of course, from the Houston side of things is, well, where did he get him, and how bad is it? It looked like it might have been that right hand.
Let's take a look here at this pitch from Austin Bibbins-Dirks, and Stassi trying to get out of the way, but look at that, catching him right on his right hand. Looked like maybe right there at his wrist. Get a good look right there. A little bit more of the forearm, wrist area. Obviously stung a little bit, and certainly some concerns as they continue to look at Stassi just outside of the batter's box. Well, you just said maybe we don't see Evan Gaddis. Of course, he's third in line this evening, but if Stassi can't go and then something were to happen, then he would have to be in there.
So it looks as if he'll be okay. Making a fist obviously there. They checked his strength a few times. Now it's the first batter that a Rangers pitcher has hit now in the last 22 games. So they had gone a little while without hitting anybody, and I think you'd be pretty comfortable in saying that ABD had no interest in adding to the challenge in this first inning. And they're still taking a close look at that thing.
You know, when you see this long of a look, you have some concerns, because you got to believe the feedback that you're getting right now from Max Stassi, if you're the training staff for the Astros, has you a little bit worried. As he's sitting there trying to make that fish, trying to shake it out. He understands how important it is that he stays in this game. With Brian McCann just going on the DL, you're going to see a catch and flush right there in that wrist area. And it continues to be an issue. So even though he's going to stay in, keep an eye on it. It could be one of those situations where he realizes he cannot. Unfortunately, it's not his glove hand. If it's his glove hand, I would say almost definitely see him come out of this game.
You know, I mentioned that it's the first time in 22 games that the Rangers have hit an opposing batter, and yet the Rangers, by a pretty substantial margin, have the lead in the American League in terms of hit batters. 46 times they have plunked an opposing hitter. So still 2 away. Marwin Gonzalez takes a strike.
Well, if you're wondering whether or not it hurt, check this out. Those are the lace marks of the baseball right there on Stassi's wrist. You can see exactly where it got him, but also the impact. It could not have felt very good.
Gonzalez, a switch hitter, bats left-handed, and he shoots this one in the air to center field. The Shields is there, and it puts an end to the inning. A 30-pitch first inning for Austin Bibbins-Dirks. The Astros get a pair, and now the Rangers coming to bat. Work 38-47, the Rangers 16.5 back in the division. We take a look at the Southwest starting lineup, and Shin-Soo Choo leading it off as the DH. Elvis Andrus at short, and Omar Mazara in right field. Then it's Beltre at third, Rougned Odor at second. Ryan Rule gets another start in left field tonight. He bats sixth. Chirinos catches. Ronald Guzman back in the lineup, and off the DL at first base, and Delino DeShields rounding it out in center.
And they'll be going up against Dallas Keuchel, the left-hander for the Astros this evening. We'll show you that pitch arsenal for Keuchel, and it's going to be a lot of two-seam fastballs. That's what he does. Throws the sinker, tries to get the ground balls. He mixes in that slider and cutter as well, an occasional curveball and four-seam fastball. But it is all about the two-seamer now. A little bit of struggle, some struggles this year on that pitch for Keuchel. A .293 batting average against a two-seamer. He has allowed 5 home runs on that pitch. That is the most of any pitch for Keuchel this season.
Well, you can see the Astros have made a change. Tim Fedorovich takes over behind the plate, so apparently that hit onto the hand, the right-hander, and wrist was too much for Stassi, or at least they did not want to risk it getting any worse, so they take him out of the game. He doesn't even catch a pitch today. And here comes Shin-Soo Choo. Choo with a 42-game on-base streak. Had his 12-game hitting streak ended on Sunday, and he takes one a little bit in from Dallas Keuchel. Choo has the average up to 283 now, 15 home runs. It's the most he's ever had before the All-Star break in his career. And among the top 10 in the league in walks, on-base percentage, etc. It's been a really good run for Choo.
And deservedly so before the game for Choo, because of the great run that he has had. He gets the Rangers Player of the Month award. There you see him right there behind home plate. A nice little watch there that, I feel like that would look pretty good on my wrists. It's a nice little gift for his favorite broadcaster.
Yep.
I'm just assuming. I don't know if I am his favorite, but something to think about for Choo this evening as he tries to keep that streak going.
Wait a minute, you're suggesting that one of the things he needs to think about is which broadcaster he gives that watch to?
I think that's probably a good way to spend his evening.
Well, you look at the best on-base streaks of the decade in the American League, and he has the fourth best going. In the dirt, 2-2 the count. So a significant run for Choo, and you know that the job that he has done up at the top of the order has gone a long way toward this team playing better baseball. Won 11, lost 3 in their last 14 games. They've won 5 consecutive series, something they hadn't done since 2016. So it's been a sustained run of good play for the ball club, and this will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat for Choo. He comes up empty, and he won't bother running. So Choo strikes out, 1 away.
Take a look at our Jack in the Box visitors defense, and this is for the Houston Astros and what they got out there this evening. Tony Kemp, George Springer, Josh Reddick in the outfield for the defending world champs, and in the infield it's Bregman, Gonzalez, Altuve, Gurriel, and well, got to change a catcher. Didn't take very long. How about our graphics folks on it?
They don't miss much.
I mean, quick.
Plus, I mean, a lot of letters.
Yeah.
And Fedorovic's last name. It's not a tippa-tappa down there. Here is Elvis Andrus. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Elvis at 265. But in a hole 0-2. He's had good numbers against Houston. Of course, that's when he was healthy. He broke the elbow before we were through the 2nd week of the season. Count stays 0-2.
I'd love to see the Rangers try to work that pitch count up pretty early. You saw what happened with Austin Bibbins-Dirks in the 1st inning. It is a warm evening. We're joking around about the 102. I mean, I'm not going to say it didn't feel like 102, but it did. It's warm, but I didn't think 102. And so the idea of keeping the opposing starting pitcher out there for an extended period of time certainly would work in your favor.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Dallas Keuchel. 2 away. Here comes Nomar Mazara. Time for our WinStar leaderboard, and talk about left-handed hitters against left-handed pitchers. And Mazara, 6 home runs against lefties. Only Freddie Freeman has more this year off left-handed pitchers. Nomar, most RBIs on the club with 55. And he has 15 long balls. And takes a strike, though, from Keuchel. Mazara 8 for 28 against Dallas Keuchel with a home run. That's that one in the dirt. It's 0-2. Nomar batting third. And another guy who's been on an extended run the last 13 games. Well, the Big Chill's hitting 389. Average has jumped about 22 points in that span. 0-2.
Some struggles this season for Dallas Keuchel against lefties. A 308 batting average against. Now you saw the breaking ball right there, and that usually is key for most left-handed pitchers against left-handed hitters. And so that'll be an important pitch for Dallas Keuchel, but there have been some struggles against those lefties this season.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
What a contrast from a year ago. Lefties hit 145 last year against Dallas Keuchel.
Well, Keuchel strikes out the side in order in the bottom of the first. And used some pitches to get there, but a pretty solid first inning for him. It's 2-0 Houston. And our Kubota power stats for tonight's game. Austin Bibbins-Dirks. Well, he throws a lot of first pitch strikes. We were noting at the top of the first inning how the Astros were out attacking him. I mean, I'm sure that's logic not lost on them. You got about a 72% chance it's going to be a strike. Probably a pretty good pitch. And they went after him to the tune of 2 runs on 3 hits. Tony Kemp here, the starting left fielder, watched the ball.
Well, the key there for Austin, as I mentioned, was when you look at those first pitch strikes and really all his strikes, that he's putting those pitches where he wants, and they're swinging at his pitch. Right? You don't see very many straight pitches from Austin. Even when he throws his 4-seam fastball, he's got a little bit of a lower arm angle, so you'll see some arm side run on that pitch. And he wants contact. He just wants weak contact off the end of the bat, jamming hitters the way that he did with Alex Bregman. Bregman did a good job of turning that into a base hit. He's going to throw strikes, and he's going to try to get some contact, and he's going to try to keep that pitch count down, which was a little bit of an issue in the first inning.
Way in 3-1 to Tony Kemp. Now Kemp batting in the 9-hole. Yet don't go to sleep on him either. Last 24 games he's hitting .333, his average over 300 for the year. That presents a little danger there at the bottom of the order. And he takes ball 4, and he's got good speed, so Kemp is on to start the second inning. Well, we invite you to take home a little bit of snow this July. The first 15,000 fans to the ballpark on Friday, July 20th. Going to get this celebration snow globe courtesy of Powerade and Kroger. The Cleveland Indians, the Texas Rangers, a 7:05 game. You can get your tickets at texasrangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Well, lead man on here in the second inning. George Springer takes one up and away for a ball. Springer popped up in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. And it has been a struggle for Springer. You see the average at 252. He took the day off on Sunday. He was a little banged up. Hinch actually had him sitting in Friday's game as well down in Tampa, but he said that was more of a scheduled day off, just a day off for the sake of a day off. Sunday he said he was, he had tumbled into the seats going for a ball. He dove for 2 plays on the turf in Tampa on Saturday, and he was just sore. And so he wanted to give him Sunday off, especially with Monday an off day for them as well. And here's another reason why you might think about giving him some time off. 1 for his last 34.
I think it's a really smart play by A.J. Hinch. You see those kind of numbers, especially from a good hitter. The idea of giving him that opportunity to reset, especially as hard as he plays too. You mentioned him being banged up a little bit, so both physically and I'm sure mentally, you go through any kind of streak like that. I'm not sure there's too many hitters in the big leagues that are going to tell you that mentally they're feeling really good when that kind of slump. So you give him those days, you hope that the reset works. For George Springer, we saw him go through that even in the postseason. As good as he was in the World Series, you remember how much he struggled in the American League Championship Series, and there was talks about whether or not he should even be in the lineup in the World Series. He struck out, what, 4 times, I believe, in game 1. And then from there on, he just went on an unbelievable tear. And so there's some hot and cold in George Springer's game. And right now, obviously, a little bit of cold. And I'd take 2 more days of that if you wouldn't mind. Go ahead and get yourself straightened out after you leave Arlington.
And he'll likely put up all the numbers by season's end. He does have 15 home runs already this year and 42 RBIs. Former first-round pick out of UConn and comes from an athletic family. His mom was a gymnast and he learned gymnastics at a young age. And you see it sometimes the way he plays in the outfield. Very athletic.
He's fast twitchy, right? I mean, just the way he's such a great athlete, the way that he moves. It's kind of surprising that they have so many good defensive outfielders here that when Jake Marisnick is in the lineup that he actually goes to right field. Marisnick is an even better defensive center fielder. But I think that's a really interesting point. We got to be a little bit of an issue going on where amateur athletes become one-sport athletes, probably too young. And the idea that he was learning gymnastics at that young age and how it's really paid off as a big leaguer. That's worth noting.
Harder and harder to do, though, only because everybody requires so much of their athletes in the youth game now. Too many practices and drills and coaches.
I put it on amateur coaches. The good ones will tell you, yes, go play your other sports in your other seasons, and we'll see you during our season.
Ooh, a little tight, and that got a piece of Springer. Second hit batter in the game, and 2 freebies to start this second inning.
We saw earlier where, first of all, take a look at the 4-seam fastball. And again, I mentioned how Austin Bibbins-Dirks really doesn't throw anything straight. So that 4-seamer has some pretty good run. But how about earlier in the season where it was Cole Hamels who got George Springer and got him pretty good on that fastball. And then that strange game with Charlie Morton where he just really struggled with his command. Now, these are off-speed pitches, and I don't necessarily think there was any intent there, but 5 batters hit. 5 Rangers batters. Such a weird night. And there's Cole Hamels. But again, one of those nights, I think, on all of those pitches that we just saw, including the 2 tonight. No intent behind any of them. Right now, Austin Bibbins-Dirks just battling to find that consistent release point.
And he's upstairs to Bregman, and another mound visit here as Chirinos is going to come out. Well, I'd mentioned earlier that when he hit Stassi in the first inning, it put an end to a 22-game stretch where the Rangers had not hit a batter, and it was the longest such stretch the Rangers had since 1998. Now that stretch of 22 games ended that season, and the streak itself ended on opening day 1999 when Rick Helling hit a couple of Tigers and somebody else. Yeah, C.J. Nitkowski.
I didn't hit anybody.
Oh, you plunked. You were pitched for Detroit.
Yeah, that's right. I see where you were going with that. You thought you're trying to steal Jared's note and try to make it turn bad on me. It's a huge game for me. Faced one batter.
Got him out.
5-3 ground ball to Dean Palmer.
You couldn't have remembered that off the top
No
of your
chance.
head.
And that guy's still active. At 53 years old, still playing some professional baseball. Cleburne, Texas.
Hard to believe. It's just fouled away by Bregman. 1-1 the count. Well, gives you hope. It's not over yet, CJ.
Let me tell you something. It's over, buddy.
Well, have you officially retired? Did you officially announce your retirement?
No, I'm trying to get to sign that one-day contract with the Nexen Heroes to see if they would bring me back so I could officially retire. So no, I have not. Filed the paperwork, and nobody seems too concerned about it.
The 1-1 popped up. Foul ground, first base side. Now might be a play. Chirinos runs out of room. Going into the dugout for strike 2.
So it's a tough at bat here for Austin. Get a guy like Alex Bregman who does a really good job. Now, put him a little bit, and it's early in his career, but you can put him in that Chew type of category where he's got a really good idea of the strike zone, does a nice job. He'll take a lot of close pitches that are just off the plate. He battles for each and every call, and so this is an interesting battle between him and ABD, who's trying to work those corners. But doesn't swing and miss very often, doesn't chase out of the zone, and with nobody out here, runners at first and second, this could be a big out.
Look at those numbers. Last 12 games with 2 strikes. His OPS closing in on 1,300. So he's not cutting down. He's still just as dangerous with 2 strikes as he is at any other portion of an at bat. The pitch, high pop up, again foul ground, and Chirinos this time will have room. So one away.
It's a big out. It's a nice job based on all the numbers that we were just talking about and how locked in Alex Bregman has been. ABD, who's not a ground ball pitcher, he is much more of a fly ball pitcher than a ground ball pitcher, induces this pop up. Even though that pitch was a little bit higher in the strike zone than he wanted. You see the 4-seam grip up in the zone. They originally trying to go down and away. That probably worked out a little bit better. Take that first out. Certainly not out of the woods and not even close, but got a guy in Jose Altuve who doesn't get deep in the count, so you know he's generally going hacking early. I don't think we're going to see the sac bunt again, are we?
No.
It's first and second this time.
Strike 1.
So really cool here with Jose Altuve. When he started adding the power, I want you to watch his swing and watch his back foot. What he does to me is pretty incredible. Watch his back foot. That scissor kind of kick, that is new for the last, I guess, maybe 2.5, 3 seasons for him. Look at the right foot, how it goes back. That is really what has changed his game. And I'm amazed listening to hitters that do that, that talk about it. It seems so awkward. And obviously Jose Altuve has been so good, but that's intentional when you see that back foot kick out like that. Pretty opposite of, you know, the old squash to bug, right? Get your back foot down, leave it down, and kind of rotate. And the power really started to go up for Jose Altuve when he was adding that to his game, his ability to drive the ball the other way with that swing. It's fascinating to watch.
I have a hard time getting my brain around the mechanics of why it would help. Shoots this one in the air out to right. Mazzara is there. Kemp will hold second base, and probably wisely so. 2 away.
I'm with you on that, because it almost seems like you feel like you'd be unbalanced, but it just works for certain guys. I think it helps keep you in the zone a little bit longer, and just the ability to drive the ball instead of turning and kind of burning and spinning off the ball. I think it keeps you on the ball a little bit longer. You'll take a look there. Light kick has also been kind of part of what he's done, but watch that back foot. Didn't come out as much that time. That is all intentional. So different things for different hitters. Certainly Jose Altuve is one of the better ones we have in the game, but That old traditional thought of, well, keep that back foot down, squash the bug, kind of little league term. That's not what Jose Altuve does. Bryce Harper, back foot in the air a lot of times when he's making contact. He's another one. It's pretty incredible to watch.
Well, first pitch to Gurriel, up and away for a ball. Gurriel had the RBI double in the first. With runners in scoring position, Gurriel hitting .409 this year. That's best in the American League. This is 38th RBI in the first inning, so a very dangerous hitter here. But Bibbins Dirks 1 out away from getting out of the inning without any runs allowed. He could really use a scoreless inning here. He's had to work hard again. 31 pitches in the first inning. This will be number 20 here in the second. Two and one.
Good changeup there from Austin. And a right time to do it right. You get in a 2-0 count, you get an aggressive hitter like Gurriel, and you try to play against that aggressiveness. And if you disguise your changeup properly, it's going to look like a fastball. And you're going to get a guy with a big swing to swing right through it the way Austin did right there.
In the air, foul. 2-2.
By the way, we just had a nice tight shot there on a couple of pitches from Austin. How sweet are the hats that the Rangers are wearing here? Those are pretty cool.
Now they'll be wearing the same ones again tomorrow. Umpires today rolling out a similar look. Obviously not the logo of a team, but Major League Baseball's logo on theirs. All right, Gurriel waiting on a 2-2. And here it comes. Look good. Strike 3 called. And Austin Bibbins Dirks get out of the inning without any damage done.
That's a nice job by Austin after a couple on and nobody out. Goes through the middle of the Astros order and finishes things off with a perfectly located fastball for strike 3 against Gurriel.
And around the world watching the game tonight on AFN, American Forces Network. Welcome to those serving in countries around the world, aboard naval ships at sea. Of course, thank you all so much for your service on this, the day before our great holiday tomorrow, July 4th, Independence Day. And today, Navy Appreciation Day at the ballpark. Adrian Beltre starting things off for the Rangers, and
so
takes one low, 1-1.
Love that we do that. My father was in the United States Navy for 20 years.
Wow.
So a pretty cool part of our life. So love to see the Rangers show some appreciation, not just for the Navy, of course, but for all of our military personnel.
Ball and 2 strikes on Beltre. Beltre with the average at 309. Whoa, a little tight. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Our TXU Energy power player to watch, Adrian Beltre. His numbers against Keuchel matching his season numbers this year, 309. One of 4 players with a 300 or better batting average against Keuchel in Major League Baseball. He's a tough guy on so many hitters, but Beltre's had a little success against him. Former Cy Young Award winner in Dallas Keuchel.
It's pretty impressive when you think about how few guys have actually put up those kind of numbers against Dallas Keuchel for as long as he has been around.
All right, he gets strike 3 called. He has punched out the first 4 Rangers he's faced tonight.
Take a look at this inside changeup. It appeared to be from Dallas Keuchel, and maybe a little bit in off the plate, but a very similar location. There's a good look at the grip. Very similar location to what we saw Gurriel strike out on. And so the down and in corner, maybe even if it's just a little bit off, will be called tonight against right-handed hitters.
So Keuchel 1 away in the 2nd inning. Gets a look now at Rougned Odor. Well, apparently liking the look because it's a long one. Ball 1. Keuchel. You look at active pitchers against the Rangers, and Felix Hernandez 309 strikeouts in his career against the Rangers, but there's Keuchel 4th most behind Bartolo Colon and Justin Verlander, just ahead of him on the list. And you feel comfortable that the big sexy won't be striking out too many more Rangers this year.
Let's hope not. It's kind of interesting as you look at a guy like Dallas Keuchel and don't necessarily consider him a huge strikeout pitcher. His career high, though, of 13 strikeouts, that's something he recorded against the Texas Rangers back in 2015. He's a contact pitcher. Ground balls are what he does. That's what he relies on the most, and more often than not, your sinker ball pitchers are not going to be huge strikeout guys, and that's kind of been the case for Dallas Keuchel over the course of his career.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, made his big league debut in this ballpark. This is low, and goes 3-1 on Rugi. Mentioned the Cy Young, that came in 2015 season. Last year was an all-star for the 2nd time in his career. And he catches a corner. Full count now on Odor.
Another pitch down and in. Now this one looked like it was a strike. Fox Tracks had it on the plate. Now they're trying to go away, and so it's mislocation down and in, but we've seen it on both sides, to both lefties and righties, that down and in strike getting called.
Well, a ball in play. Gurriel will take it to the bag himself down at first, and Odor retired. 2 out here in the 2nd inning.
And 6th, left fielder, number 16, Ryan.
So here's Ryan Rua, 3 for 5 in Sunday's game with a double. In fact, just called up again very recently for the 5th time this year with the big club, and in 4 games since his call up, 5 for 13 with a double and a couple of home runs. See the numbers since being recalled. Oh, and 2.
Tough spot to be in for Ryan Rua, that inconsistent playing time at the big league level and the up and down. And you always know when you're a guy with options, and if you're looked at as maybe a 4th or 5th outfield, of course, he can play some first base as well. Having a consistent season can be a real challenge.
Oh, close pitch called, strike 3. Rua, the 5th strikeout victim already for Keuchel. We've played 2 innings so far. The Astros lead at 2-0.
Fan of the game time. It is Navy Appreciation Night at the ballpark, so not a more fitting Progressive fan of the game than Tommy Dykes. Flew 960 miles to be the Progressive fan of the game here tonight. Where'd y'all come from?
Kingsport, Tennessee.
We are thankful that you're here. We are thankful for your service, and we present you with the fan of the game. All you got to do is ask, guys.
Yeah. Well played.
Thank you so much.
And of course, thanks for your service, and so many great ones with us here tonight. Super evening to be out at the ballpark here. July 3rd, fireworks after the ball game tonight. Right now, Houston with a 2-0 lead as Evan Gattis climbs in the box. And Austin Bibbins-Dirks needing an efficient inning. Ties up Gattis to make it 1-1. Seven of the first 10 Astros reached tonight, but then ABD got Bregman, Altuve, and Gurriel in order to stop the trouble in the second inning. Misses to Gattis here. It's 2-1.
So it's interesting to see that the home plate umpire tonight in Marvin Hudson has established that down and in corner. It's been consistent. It hasn't been a fluke. And so now as a pitcher, you've realized that you've watched the opposing pitcher, you watch the calls you've gotten yourself, and sometimes you run into that situation, and whether or not you want to go to that spot, even if it's not part of your game plan, right? If you know you're getting, I don't know, I think we've seen 2 or 3 inches off the plate, a little bit down and in, but you're like, well, this guy's kind of a good down and in hitter, but that's usually in the zone. If I can throw that pitch just off, and most hitters are going to take it because they see it as a ball, I could get that called a strike. That could be a little bit of a tough spot for pitchers to be in. When you see a call that's being made in a part of the strike zone that maybe you weren't originally thinking about pitching to very often, but I think based on what we've just seen with some of these called strikes, down and in is absolutely open for business tonight.
Well, he's gotten the count back to full on Gattis. A little roller, third base. Routine play for Beltre. One away in the third inning. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Rick Renner.
Right fielder Josh Reddick.
All right, thanks, Rick. So the standings currently in the American League East, Yankees a game and a half back of Boston. Tampa Bay playing 500 baseball all of a sudden. They're still a long ways away from relevance, but boy, do they turn things around.
Think there's any panic in DC? And on the flip side of that, they are a 500 team right now in third place, and I think, you know, we're about halfway there, but it does appear that the Atlanta Braves are for real.
Yeah.
And they actually may be buyers. The Philadelphia Phillies also ahead of the Nationals. It's a pretty interesting time in DC. New manager Bryce Harper headed to free agency. They have been a little bit of a disappointment so far in their eyes of what they were expecting. They thought, at least I think most people thought the Mets were going to be the team that would have given them the biggest challenge. That hasn't turned out particularly well for the Mets, but they're the Nationals with their new manager, and they have been a postseason team, but they went to Dave Martinez with the idea of getting someone that could kind of take them, you know, over the hump. They've had some big issues this year.
So I would say no panic.
No panic.
No panic. They got a long way to go, and they'll have opportunities with those teams ahead of them to take care of their own business. Of course, the Mets started what, 11-1.
Slowed down a little bit since then.
Count stays 2-2 on Reddick here.
Ryan Zimmerman last year was a great story. He really has been a non-factor this year for the Nationals. Bryce Harper off to a slow start, at least from a batting average standpoint. He's got 20 home runs, so he's hit the long ball. And then Daniel Murphy's been hurt. And the guys that they've really counted on, he's back, but doesn't quite look the same just yet. They have the players that have the track records, but it's been a little bit of a disappointing first half for them.
So, you know, I mean, you've been around the game long enough. They're 90 games into their season.
Yeah.
Roughly, right? And that seems like, I mean, it seems like we've been doing this for a little while now. There's like 70+ games left. I mean, it's a long way.
Right.
And so it's great what Atlanta and Philly have been doing. But you wonder, like, a lot of that young talent, very good. How do they react to the pennant race? How do they react to the length of the season and the rigors of a full season in the big leagues? Reddick reacts to that pitch by sending it a mile out to right field. Home run for Reddick, his 7th of the year. And it puts the Astros in front 3-0. Not much question once he let that bat through the zone where that ball was in and up.
That was a good at bat from Josh Reddick. 7 pitches when it was all said and done. He gets himself an 89-mile-an-hour two-seam fastball. And you can see how Austin turns that pitch over. But see how Robinson Chirinos has to reach back over the plate. They wanted that down and away. Look where his glove is, where it starts and where it ends up finishing. And that gives Reddick an opportunity to get to that ball. Just the 2nd home run that Austin Bibbins-Dirks has allowed this season at the big league level.
So Stassi, who was in the game earlier, hit by a pitch, left the game. And so now Fedorovich gets his first at bat tonight. And he takes one on the corner, 1-1. Just called up today. You saw the numbers at AAA for him, and in the few games he has played up in the big leagues. This is his 2nd go round. He was also up at the end of May for about a week. Ground ball up the middle, and he is on via the base hit. Fifth hit against Austin Bibbins-Dirks so far tonight. Brings up Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez a switch hitter, and he takes in. He had started some 5 games at shortstop before getting a day off Sunday. He did pinch hit Sunday. Today his 12th start this season at short. Carlos Correa on the disabled list currently. And so Gonzalez doing the lion's share of the work there. The Astros are 9-2 in the games he has started at short. You mentioned earlier Austin Bibbins-Dirks not a big ground ball pitcher, but boy, if he is ever going to get one or needed one, it might be right here. And you see the Rangers have done a good job with this. 13 double play ground outs in the last 24 games, 6th most in Major League Baseball during that stretch.
It's almost surprising because of the two-seam fastball usage, the run on the 4-seamer, the changeup, that he doesn't get more ground balls and more ground double plays. 37% ground ball rate this year through his 4 starts. League average this year has been 45-46%. More fly balls than ground balls for ABD, but you see him facing a left-handed hitter. You see the run on his pitches, and if you can keep them down and away, you'd have a decent chance of getting Gonzalez to hit that ground ball.
Whoa! Shot down that third base side, foul. Gary Pettis got out of the way of it, thank goodness. Went down in a heap very quickly.
He's thinking it's too hot for this. It's just right here, line shot. And, I mean, oh man, good to see him get out of the way. But you watch that in slow motion. I mean, that ball was pretty, pretty close to 3/4 of the way toward him before he even moved. Just to give you an idea how quickly it got down there. That's what I'm all for. They have the third base coach's box painted there, but I get it, man. I'd be down the line a little bit too.
2-2.
And I might be down even further after that one. But you still could not pay me enough money to coach third base with Gary Sheffield hitting. He pulled foul balls down that left field line as hard as anybody that I've ever seen.
Oh, swing and a miss. Gonzalez couldn't stop himself. And a strikeout is the second out of the inning for Bivens Dirks.
Well, it was actually the foul ball pitch 2 pitches before that really set this up. They elevated and now they go below the zone. So a really good job here by Chirinos and Austin Bivens Dirks to change the eye level, use the breaking ball below the zone. But you see Gonzalez try to hold up his swing, but he could not.
So now Kemp walked last inning. Eventually was left at second base. His walk started the inning. Astros got 2 in the first. They have added a run here in the 3rd inning. Now they've stranded 5 runners in the first 2 innings. Left the bases loaded in the first, left 2 men on last inning. And Kemp hits this one high in the air out to right. Mazzara is back. He leaps, and that one is just over the fence. Kemp's second home run of the year on a 1-0 pitch. It's good for 2, and it puts Houston up 5-0.
This ball got up in the air, the wind blowing a little bit. Of course, we know how well the ball will carry to right field. Another changeup that came back a little bit further over the plate to a left-handed hitter. More than Austin wanted it to, and you see Nomar Mazzara with a tremendous effort as he gets back to the wall. Watch how close this is, just out of his reach.
Austin having one of those days. Now deals with George Springer. 5-0 Houston leads. And Springer wanted to join the parade. Reddick and Kemp with home runs. So the Astros have now homered in 23 consecutive road games. One and one the count. The major league record for homers in consecutive road games, 27, set by the Oakland A's. One and two. And you can see the road has been pretty friendly to the Astros. 30 road victories. And a note there at the bottom, we've been talking about it because we've been seeing some of the teams with less than 30 total wins for the year. But the Astros have won 30 on the road. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Springer strikes out to in the 3rd inning. But 3 more runs for Houston. Rangers have some work to do tonight. Lead tonight. Rangers with some work to do. Time now for the Lowe's whole team together, and it's going to take everybody tonight. But you look, the last 5 series, Rangers batting averages, I mean, that's pretty good. 5 guys there hitting .306 or better, and we'll see a handful of them this inning. Chirinos with a .310 average. So first things first, Rangers could use a base runner. Keuchel with 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings and jumps ahead of Chirinos all in one.
Keuchel only had 3 strikeouts in his last game. That was over 5 1/3. He struggled against the Blue Jays with the 6 runs that he allowed, and so he's feeling obviously a little bit better. Rangers got to find a way to slow that down. I mentioned that he really hasn't been a strikeout pitcher over the course of his career, though he's put together some really good games. This season, the most strikeouts he had in a game was 8, and that was actually against the Rangers back on May 13th.
This ball hit well down the third baseline foul. 1-2 on Chirinos. Robinson has a 6-game hitting streak going, and one of the notable things about the streak is he has at least 1 extra base hit in all of them. He's homered in 3 of the last 5 games in which he has played and stays alive 1-2.
Let's take a look at some StatCast information powered by AWS, and what it's going to show us is where Robinson Chirinos has hit some ground balls, and you see of course where the shift is right now. They do this kind of color coordinated, does StatCast, and if you see something in red, well, that's going to be 32% or higher, but you see the orange there on the left side, 24 to 32% of balls that are put in play that are under 200 feet. So you can understand why that shift might be the way that it is. Got some yellow, some lime yellow, and some lime in there as well. That's the way StatCast presents it, as opposed to, you know, maybe just red, white, blue, and green. Lime and lime yellow. It is summertime.
Oh, I love lime yellow.
Yeah, and lime yellow is very refreshing.
2-2.
When it's cooled down to 101, we've dropped it a degree since opening pitch.
Well, another strikeout for Dallas Keuchel, his 6th.
Dallas Keuchel locked in right now. There's a really good look at the changeup grip, and you're going to see this pitch kind of drop, stay away from the right-handed hitter Chirinos. Good fade and speed differential. The key to any changeup is your ability to sell it with your arm speed. Don't slow down at all. You let the grip slow the baseball down, and it's pretty well executed by Dallas Keuchel.
Off-speed pitch in there for strike to Ronald Guzman. .227 average. Guzman hits this one into left field. There's a base hit. So the Rangers have their first base runner tonight. And that's a good start, 1 step at a time.
Another encouraging at bat by Ronald Guzman. Watch him stay inside this pitch against a good left-handed pitcher. He left it up a little bit, looked like the cutter. See Guzzi just stay on that line to left center field. Pretty good so far here in his rookie year. .256 against lefties, but not just the batting average. The approach, as you can see right there, that's what you want to see from a young hitter. Not trying to get too big, not trying to pull that ball against Keuchel.
Delano DeShields first at bat of the night, and he will drive this one out to the left of center field, over the head of Springer and all the way to the wall. Guzman to third. They'll wade him. DeShields will stop at second. An RBI double, and the Rangers are on the board. And that ball was smoked by Delano.
That's good pitch recognition early on from Delano, not waiting around. He knows that Keuchel's been locked in. He's recorded those 6 strikeouts so far, and so he gets an off-speed pitch that sits in the middle of the plate. And you're right, he absolutely drilled this thing. First pitch curveball. That's a really good at bat and a smart play by Delano DeShields, recognizing a pitch that he likes. And it's been an unusual year for Delano, where he has really beat up on left-handed pitching. .313 batting average against. There have been some struggles against righties, but he knew what he wanted against the lefty Keuchel and did not let it go by.
Chu takes inside for a ball. He struck out swinging in the first. Well, that was much needed just in the third inning, but the Rangers showing some life offensively here in the third. And Chu takes a little bit in. Now, second time through the order, we'll see what sort of adjustments these Rangers hitters make. Rangers are 19 for 65 with runners in scoring position on this homestand. Up and in. It's 3-0. So Keuchel, opposite field hit. The ball roped out to the wall and centered by DeShields. Now he's missed on 3 straight to Chu. Ball 4 and Chu's on base streak extended to 43.
I think even Chu might have been a little bit surprised that that was called a ball. Based on what we have seen so far this evening, this one appeared to be right at the bottom of the plate. I see the movement there. A nice job trying to make that look like a strike. Dallas Keuchel seemed a little bit surprised as well, but certainly Chu will take it.
There you see it. Julio Franco, 46, longest streak in team history. Otis Nixon, 1 ahead of Chu. Andrews, first pitch swinging, and pulls it foul. Shields off in the distance. Chu at first. Rangers down by 4. Well, a little something brewing here in the third inning. And Elvis takes low, 1-1. Well, the runners in scoring position. Last 10 games now, Rangers as a team hitting .356. Up to right field. Reddick on the run toward the line, and he makes the basket-style catch right before hitting those pads. Shields moves up a base, but that's a pretty nice play by Reddick. 2 away.
He's a very good defender out there in right field. You got to deal with the wall. His ball was not hit very hard, so it was kind of dying on him a little bit, and you're trying to manage both your speed and the wall, but still trying to make this play. And that was pretty close, and closer to being a fair ball than originally hit, although it probably would have finished foul. It's a nice play by Josh Reddick.
So Andrews retired, and now it's up to Nomar Mazara. Nomar with a 5-game hitting streak. 9 hits and a home run on this homestand so far. He was 1 for 4 in Sunday's game. And he'll pull this one right down to first. Gurriel standing right there for it, and the inning is done. Rangers get a run, but they leave them on the corners. We've played 3 complete. It's 5-1. and fees. That's transparency. And by Buick. Visit your local Buick dealer today. A great crowd here, July 3rd. As we get ready for the big holiday tomorrow. A lot of folks here tonight. Some fireworks after the game. There you go, packed in. Great series. This is a wonderful opportunity for these two teams to get together. Final time that they will square off here in Arlington this season. Very early into the, I guess, in-season rivalry at home. Of course, they will wrap up their season series in Houston later in the month, which is absurdly early. Bregman, Altuve, Gurriel here in the fourth inning. Bivens-Dirks has really worked hard tonight and gets that one in there for a strike, 1-1.
We did a very nice job last time. He had to go through this part of the order, 2, 3, 4. With a couple of runners on base, he was able to retire Bregman, Altuve, and now Gurriel. But this will be third time through the order, so quite the challenge against a good hitting middle of the lineup.
I think Austin's quickest inning in terms of pitches used is still over 20. This ball hit sharply by third. A base hit for Bregman, his second of the night. So by inning, if you look at Austin Bivens-Dirks, that second inning, 22 pitches. That was easily the simplest inning for him, and that's still a lot of pitches.
It is, and we mentioned this in our open that over his last couple of starts he was averaging 14.7 pitches per inning. That's an excellent rate. This year overall 16.5 pitches per inning. You'll take that as well. But these Astro hitters have made him work, and we've seen Austin, I mentioned earlier, struggling a little bit to find some consistency.
Boy, Altuve goes up after one there, flies out to right field. Bregman returns, one away. Pitch was helmet high almost for Altuve.
It's one of the things I think is so fascinating about him as a hitter, as good as he is and adding power late. He's a great line drive hitter, but he just doesn't wait around very long. And you see this ball, it's a breaking ball, and it's kind of spinning, and it really looks like it was never a strike. But for Jose Altuve, he likes to attack pitches early. That's what he does, and he did it in that spot, and it worked in Austin Bivens-Dirks' favor. .6 pitches per plate appearance for Jose Altuve. That's far and away the lowest of any Astro.
Gurriel can't be too far behind, can he? He had a long at bat the other day, but generally speaking, he's pretty aggressive.
I take that back. He is the lowest. I missed that. I was looking at all pitchers, and I just lied. So you called me out. Nice job.
Oh, well, I
Gurriel's
really
at
didn't mean to.
3.4. Well done with your good instincts.
Sorry. Now I feel kind of bad.
Well, I saw Charlie Morton, I saw Justin Verlander, and I kind of made the assumption I was looking at the rest of pitchers at the bottom. And there you are.
This ball hit well out to right field. Mazzaro reaches out and makes the play. Might have a chance back at first. Bregman got way off there. The throw, not quite in time.
Well, certainly Alex Bregman was surprised that Nomar Mazara caught this ball because it was an excellent play. I mentioned earlier, we know the ball carries well to right center field, and I think Bregman thought this was going to get over Mazzara's head. You see the concentration there, the focus. Does a great job of hauling it in. Now he's got to slow himself down against the wall. You'll see him turn. I think right there Bregman was thinking if that ball's over his head, he wanted to score. This was pretty close. Now the ball ultimately popped out of Guzman's glove anyway, as you're going to watch ABD letting him know. Almost. Nomar would have loved that assist. That would have been fun for him.
6 so far this year for Mazzara, one of the top outfield arms in the American League. Gaddis swings at the first pitch, bounces it down to third. Beltre takes care of him, and that's the quickest inning of the night for Austin Bivens-Dirks. Just 7 pitches needed. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 5-1. is needed. We're going to get Adrian Beltre, Shin-Soo Choo, Nomar Mazara, whomever to the All-Star game. You got to vote. Go to TexasRangers.com/vote. Cast your ballot ASAP. Fans who vote 25 times or more will also receive a 25% discount on Beltre, Choo, and Mazara merchandise through July 5th. Voting ends on Thursday at 11 p.m. So get after it. Log on and vote now. Beltre leading things off here in the fourth inning. Then Rougned Odor and Ryan Rua. That's fouled away. 1-1. Adrian struck out looking in the second. One of 6 strikeout victims tonight for Dallas Keuchel. Left-hander really had the strikeouts working early. Seems as if the Rangers have maybe made some adjustments. 2-1 the count.
Well, they know Dallas Keuchel, right? They obviously have seen him a lot of times. Most of the hitters in this lineup have, and there's a lot of data out there on Keuchel. But he looked really locked in. The breaking ball seemed to be the difference for him that first time through the order. We'll see if that game plan changes a little bit. That's, I think, the pitch that caught some of the Rangers off guard. Plus, as we mentioned earlier, some borderline pitches that were getting called strikes. And it seems like the strike zone all of a sudden has gotten a little bit tighter.
Full count now on Beltre. We'll get a moment to walk that one off. So American League All-Star balloting continues to get updated, and the guy leading everybody is in this game. Jose Altuve, 3.4 million votes, leading at second base. Mookie Betts not too far behind in left field for the Red Sox, but Aaron Judge, Mike Trout in the outfield. That's a good looking outfield. Hard to argue with really any of those. Stays 3-2. Now at third base, your top 4 vote getters. Jose Ramirez currently with the lead. Bregman in second, and Duhar, the rookie for the Yankees, and Beltre fourth. The manager for the American League All-Star team leading these Astros from the third base dugout. Ground ball shortstop. Gonzalez throws out Beltre. One away. Asked AJ Hinch today what kind of leeway he has. None. There's no more. We don't choose anything. Hey, catch baseball's biggest stars for an unforgettable show from the nation's capital. The MLB All-Star Game, July 17th, only on Fox, or stream it live on the Fox Sports Go app. So there was a day when you would...
Wait a minute. They don't pick anything?
No.
Pitchers?
No. He says I can, you know, decide who plays, you know, what my batting order is and the order of the pitchers I use. But Major League Baseball is taking it out of our hands.
Is that new for this year? I didn't realize that.
I think it is. Yeah.
Because of course, you know, I remember those years with the Yankees when they were going to the World Series, winning World Series, and it seemed like Joe Torre would always bring up 1 or 2 of his relievers that maybe, you know, especially the day when we didn't really appreciate setup man. Obviously, Mariano Rivera was a all-star all those years, but guys like Mike Stanton or Jeff Nelson, you'd kind of throw them a bone a little bit. You've seen that over the history of the game where, you know, the manager would kind of do that for a guy who would have a hard time getting voted in, but certainly felt like he deserved a nod. That's gone, huh? Wow. I did not know that.
I'm a little surprised by it too. Now I do think that might not be the worst thing in the world, and I could almost sense a little relief from Hinch on that, as if like, look, I don't have to get sideways with any other managers, any other ball clubs. I don't have to have my questions, motives, etc. question. I get my team, I make the lineup, we play. 3-1 duo door.
So how about this along the All-Star voting and surprising lines? I saw this yesterday and it absolutely floored me. So Manny Machado leading American League shortstops right now. If you saw the Shanat, he has far and away the worst defensive run saved of any shortstop in baseball. -20. I mean, that makes me think, no way, right? Can that stat be accurate? Defensive run saved, of course, is that number that, you know, it's kind of an all-encompassing defensive number that they try to throw out there and try to compare, you know, all position players to each other, and saying that he is actually 20 runs below average. He was an unbelievable third baseman. Tremendous range. -20, and we're not even to the All-Star break yet.
Well, I'm not sure how much I trust all the various defensive metrics. The roller down to first base. Door retired, 2 away in the 4th inning. I just think they're really difficult.
I generally don't trust them either, and when I see something like that, I want to trust them because I like the idea and I wish they were more reliable. But I haven't watched very many Oriole games, and we'll get a good look at Manny Machado on this next road trip, assuming he's still there, because he's a guy now. There's some rumblings about him getting traded maybe before we even get to the trading deadline, if possible. But I was shocked to hear that.
I find that very surprising. Yeah, I mean that he might be below average. Okay, I could accept that. 20 runs.
Yeah.
Because you're not talking about 20 balls.
No.
20 plays. You're talking about 20 runs. That seems excessive.
Now, in fairness, too, when you look at the defensive run saved, the best I think you can do is you start to look at those numbers on a 2 or 3 year average. And I'll give you a little bit better idea, because there is some fluctuation there that probably shouldn't happen for a defensive number, because yes, defense can go in slumps a little bit, but not to the degree that defensive run saves can kind of fluctuate up and down. So I mean, there's no way that's a fair assessment of what he's done. And I think it does make the trading deadline interesting too with him, because of course he goes back to shortstop this year, and he says, yeah, I'm a shortstop now, as he gets ready to head into free agency this year. And so you wonder about teams that could use him at third base. Can they even acquire him, or would they upset him in the process if they asked him to play third base? It sounds like the Dodgers will be interested, and certainly makes a lot of sense. Corey Seager out for the year. They could certainly use some help at short. We'll see.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Ryan Rua. 2 out here in the 4th inning. And Rua lifts this one high in the air out to left field. Kemp is playing way over towards center, but he's got good speed, closes on it, and makes the play to complete a 1-2-3 bottom of the 4th inning. After 4 innings tonight, the Rangers trail by 4.
Long ball so far in this game. Back in the 3rd inning, it was Josh Reddick taking Austin Bibbins-Dirk out, and you see ABD knowing it right away. There's Kemp as well joining the party. A couple left-handed hitters going deep to right field here this evening on a hot night. And this ballpark, check this out, home runs per game over the last 5 seasons in Globe Life Park, always or almost always in the top 10. Certainly over the last 4 seasons they have been. 2.8 home runs, his 5th most in Major League Baseball this season.
Well, we begin play here in the 5th inning, and Reddick launched the first of 2 in the 3rd inning for the Astros. Takes a strike. Reddick has doubled on the homer. He's driven in a couple of runs. Ground ball, second base, and Odor's right there, one away. Well, the Cleveland Indians will be in town to take on the Rangers. That's Saturday, July 21st. It's a 7:05 game, and the first 15,000 fans to the ballpark are going to get an Elvis Andrus Best Friends bobblehead, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Tom Thumb. It's the second in a series of 2 Best Friend bobbleheads. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. There they are. One away, and Tim Fedorovich, who has been hit by a pitch, pardon me, is singled rather. Stands in. Fedorovich, I mentioned earlier, called up today. Was up earlier in the year for about a week and won the count.
So it'll be interesting to see how bad the injury is to Stassi. Of course, Brian McCann just went on the DL. That gave Fedorovich the opportunity to get called up. But if Stassi has to go on the DL, if it's anything significant, he got hit in the hand. We saw those baseball seam marks right on that right hand. I still don't think we're going to see Evan Gattis catching based on the conversation you had today with A.J. Hinch.
2-1 pitch. Wow. Sharply foul.
This is the injury back in the first inning. This is how Stassi was knocked out of the game. He tried to stay in. It's a fastball just got away a little bit from Austin Bibbins-Dirks. A little bit of run. You see Stassi catching it right there in on his hand. And they looked at him for a while. He stayed in the game, but then when he went out to catch in the bottom of the first, they realized that wasn't going to happen. So he's now out of the game. And no report yet, right? We haven't heard anything official.
Haven't heard anything, no, yeah. Keep our ear to the ground, but you don't always get updates on those things. After these 2 games here, Houston will head home for their longest homestand of the year. A swing and a miss, strike 3. Fedorovich strikes out, 2 away in the inning. Well, time for a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
5-1 our score. As Marwin Gonzalez asked for time. Gonzalez is flied out and struck out, 0 for 2. And he takes ball 1 from Bibbins-Dirks. So Austin 1 out away from getting through 5 innings. And it's going to take him right near 100 pitches to do it, assuming he gets Marwin Gonzalez.
That'd be huge. I mean, he faced 8 hitters in the first inning through a bunch of pitches, and his ability to bounce back, especially on a night like tonight. First pitch 102 degrees. It's cooled down to 99. This is a battle for starting pitchers in this kind of weather. Even though it's a night game, it really doesn't matter. You're trying to conserve energy. You're trying to do the best that you can. And so for Austin Bibbins-Dirks to bounce back so far after that first inning and even a rough third has been pretty impressive.
This ball hit hard out into right field. Gonzalez with his first hit of the night. Base hit with 2 outs. So Austin will have to deal with at least 1 more.
Good swing here by Marwin Gonzalez. We'll see a pitch, another one. You see there, 89 miles an hour, 2-seam fastball, trying to go away. Caught a little bit of the middle of the plate. It was down, but Gonzalez goes down and gets it.
Kemp has had a solid night so far with a walk, the home run. This one down the left field line, but slices towards the seats foul.
How did that Judge jersey get in here?
Got lost.
Aaron Judge. What in the world? It's 2 crimes committed right here. One, that there's a Yankee jersey at the Astros-Rangers game, and two, that it says Judge on the back of the jersey. You know how I feel about that. I have strong feelings.
I do.
Probably wasted energy on my part, but to me that is a crime against baseball. The Yankees don't have their names on the back of their jerseys. We know who number 99 is.
But, so I agree on the name. I think it's totally acceptable for her to be here with the Yankees jersey on. Do you see who she's hanging with? Red Sox fan.
Wow.
There's a lot going on down there.
That's fantastic. I think they're here for the fireworks.
Yeah, that's
my guess.
Probably a pretty good explanation. ABD is 1-2 pitch. This one hit well out to right field. Long run. Mazzara will reach up and make the grab, and the inning is over. So a scoreless 5th inning for the Astros. We're halfway to the house tonight. Rangers trail by 4. Sponsored by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer today. At the halfway point of this one, 5-1 our score. Now the Rangers see if they can get something a little more substantial going against Dallas Keuchel. Left-hander's been pretty sharp so far. A lot of run on just 2 hits. Chirinos rolls this one weakly to third base. Bregman charging, throws, one away.
The first baseman.
Well, you figure Austin Bibbins-Dirks probably done after that 5th inning. His ABD. We don't know that, but he's right around 100 pitches. Got to work hard to get through his 5 innings.
So I'm with you. I thought for sure after he got that last out that he would be done. Nobody's throwing now, though.
This would tell a different story.
Yeah, I mean, nobody up. I'm pretty surprised, you know, and it's one of those things because you look at, you know, pitch count is one thing. You hear managers talk about this all the time, pitching coaches as well. Well, how'd you get there? Was it smooth? Were you working extra hard? I'd say on a night like tonight, Austin Bibbins-Dirks has been working his tail off.
Guzman pops this one foul back behind the plate. So end up in the seats.
So it's been a challenge, but obviously Austin entire career has been a challenge for him. So he doesn't mind the fight at all. But you think about him now going through this Astros lineup, a good one, 3 full times, pitch count just over 100, but it does appear that Rangers will send him back out there. So if he can do it again, that'd be even all the more impressive because, yeah, you're looking at the 5 runs and saying, well, how good of an outing has this been? It's somewhat impressive considering what he bounced back from.
Ball and 2 strikes on Guzman. Had the base hit in the 3rd inning and scored the only Rangers run. Keuchel maybe having a little trouble there with Todorovic coming up with the same game plan. And now in the dirt, even sings it 2-2. Keuchel, see the pitch count at just 71 so far. He's been pretty efficient. And a foul tip keeps it 2-2 on Guzman. Let's check in with Emily.
Well, Ronald Guzman admitted he didn't really know how to conduct himself when he was on that concussion DL for 7 days. He said it was miserable watching from the dugout. But once he got cleared from the concussion protocol and was able to work out, he said he felt a little bit better after that. So he really tried to up his work so he wouldn't miss a beat. Of course, he was playing really well when he headed into or onto that DL, batting 300 over the previous 9 games he had played in. So hoping to get that timing back sooner rather than later.
It's always the scary part, right? Missing time when you're locked in. Obviously, safety first for these players, and certainly good that he was able to clear that concussion protocol and be fine. But it's a good point because he was locked in. But his first at bat, and now this one here has been pretty good so far. Tells me that he might not have missed a beat.
Well, pretty hard collision down there at 3rd base. It knocked him. Yeah, kind of knocked him a little silly, and he had to miss 5 days. But back and ready to go. There's some more to that time he spent on the DL. This one down toward the right field corner, long run. Reddick can't get to it. Guzman trying for 2 with those long strides. He'll be in there with a slide. Guzman 2 for 2, a single and a double. His 9th of the year. And now he's in scoring position.
And this is really impressive from Ronald Guzman. First of all, I mentioned the good at-bat. It ends up being an 8-pitch at-bat when it's all said and done. But I got to tell you, we have a really good view of this, and I'm thinking that is a single all the way. The ball's going to one-hop right to Josh Reddick, who's got a really good arm, accurate arm. But Guzman got a good read and does an excellent job of turning that into a double. And the Rangers as a whole have done an excellent job this year. And these are base running numbers from Fangraphs. And what they do is they kind of take everything into account, the ability to take the extra base, you're caught stealing, all of it. How about the Texas Rangers? The best base running numbers in all of baseball so far this season.
They're a 9. Which can you get? Is
9.
it like on a scale of 1 to 10? How's that work?
It's a score. Their score is 9. I don't know what the actual how they total the number. They come up with a scoring system, but it has to do with caught stealing, attempted steals, as I mentioned, ability to take the extra base, and then of course getting thrown out of bases. All of those things matter, and you can go plus or minus. I don't know exactly what 9 means, but I know that it's number 1. We're taking home the gold. That's all that matters.
I like that. Little ground ball to shortstop, 2 away. But Guzman gets to 3rd, part of the great base running right there. Able to advance on the grounder to short.
So I was wondering if it was, is it out of 10, like the way that you score GPAs on a 4.0 scale? Is there a scale that would work? I don't know what your number goal is, but how you rank, I think, certainly tells the story. We're the best, Dave. That's all that matters.
I suppose it's not entirely unlike the scoop percentage.
That's a good point.
Still working on that one. Guzman at 3rd, 2 away, and Chu has already reached. His hitting streak came to an end on Sunday, but his on-base streak continues. It's at 43. He's in a hole here, 0-2. For Keuchel, this will be his 80th pitch of the night. And Guzman, by the way, on that double, that was an 8-pitch at bat for Guzman. The result was good. The process, the method was great. Of course, he might have to get a new pair of drawers after that. It looked like his slide in the second base just about ripped one of the legs right off. Bouncer through in the left field. That's a base hit. second run of the ball game on the Chu single. It's 5-2.
It really has been so fun to watch Chu hit and what he has done through this entire streak. Not just getting on base, but the way that he has handled the bat. Watch him beat the shifter. He's got a runner in scoring position. There's 2 outs, and he's a professional hitter, and he knows left on left. You probably don't want to get pull happy, and so he works something to the left side. There's only one fielder over there, and Alex Bregman didn't hit it very hard, but he hits it in a perfect spot, and it turns it into an RBI single.
Andrews takes one down the middle for a strike. Elvis 0 for 2. He has struck out and flied out. Elvis was 1 for 5 on Sunday. He has a 6-game hitting streak going.
We talk about how many times through the order for a starting pitcher, the numbers. First time very high for Dallas Keuchel. Second time fantastic. And now here we are, third time through the order, and so that certainly has been an issue for the lefty this season with that .316 opponent's batting average against, and that's where we stand as Chu with that single right there. Third time through the order here for the Rangers.
0-2 on Elvis. Keuchel working through this third time. It hasn't been the best year for Dallas Keuchel. Now he's on a team where he does not need to be on his best behavior, I guess, because of the way everybody else has been pitching. And by the way, the Astros are making a little change to their rotation. Initially, we were expecting to see Lance McCullers Jr. tomorrow. That's no longer the case. Garrett Cole will get the start instead. Little tapper by the mound. He's a Gold Glover at his position, and Keuchel takes care of Andrews to win the inning. So the Rangers will settle for the run on 2 hits. They leave a man. It's 5-2 as we go to the Thank you, Rick. Here we go. 6th inning. Springer, Bregman, Altuve, top third of the order, and indeed, Austin Bibbins-Dirks back out there at 104 pitches for the evening.
And he's in some pretty rare territory as well. As far as the Astros go and seeing a pitcher for the 4th time around, only 21 at-bats this entire season, which they have seen a pitcher 4th time around, and they've done extremely well. Not surprising. .429 batting average for the Astros in these spots, and an OPS over 1200.
He was behind Springer 2-0. And that one is low, ball 3. Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. Tony Barnett getting ready. So Rangers prepared to relieve Bivens Dirks here in the 6th inning should he need it. Springer, meanwhile, hasn't had a hit in his last 22 at-bats against right-handed pitchers. And he's taking 3-0. That one in there for a strike. He was hit by a pitch earlier tonight. He has popped up and struck out. I mentioned earlier how his manager, A.J. Hinch, gave him a day off on Friday. He got another day off on Sunday. Hits this ball out to right field, and that one drops in front of Omar Mazara. Base hit for Springer.
Third baseman Alex Bregman.
Brings up Alex Bregman. It nearly looked like a playable ball there. And Springer is on, and Bivens Dirks will have to keep an eye on him. Bregman, meanwhile, 2 for 3. What's the 6th inning? Astros have had the lead runner on a couple of times tonight in the 2nd inning, but they did not score. In the 4th inning, they did not score, and now here in the 6th. Hit hard out to left field. Back on it, Rua almost mistimed that leap, but able to bring that one down. One away here in the 6th inning.
It's a really nice play by Ryan Rua, because Alex Bregman hit this ball pretty hard. You're going to see it get a nice high home look, and the one that's at you is always the toughest one to judge and get an idea on the distance. And this line drive was right at Ryan Rua, and so he does a nice job of pulling that in. And Austin Bivens Dirks certainly thrilled with that, because you're in this spot, you're tired, you've been grinding. And that ball comes off the bat the way that it did from Alex Bregman. You got concerns about that turning into extra bases.
Now Altuve. Last time up, he went hacking at a pitch above his shoulders. This time he takes ball 1. A lot of pitches.
It would have been a fun game to play before we started, right? Once we saw first pitch temperature 102. Would the starting pitchers go above or below, over under on the game time temperature from your starting pitchers' total pitches? We'll play that tomorrow.
Think we'll be over 100 again tomorrow?
I don't know. Whatever the number is.
I think we will be. What a swing and a miss.
Boy.
Altuve really baffled by that one.
So to say that he was guessing here would be an understatement of the century, as he was sitting fastball. You just don't see Jose Altuve take ugly swings like this. Yes, he's a free swinger and he's aggressive and he goes early, but more often than not, it's a pretty balanced swing. That certainly was not.
So now the 1-2, and he shoots this one down to first. Caught by Guzman and right to the bag for the double play. How about that? Nice play by Ronald Guzman, and a tip of the cap to Austin Bivens Dirks to go 6 tonight.
A great defensive play here by Guzman. You see the pitch, it was a good one, but it hit right to him, and the very easy unassisted double play. Austin Bibbins-Dirk's night appears to be over, but it ended in some pretty cool fashion. The line out to Ronald Guzman, who then tags first base for the easy double play, and that is our Cricket smile of the night. Cricket Wireless and Austin Bibbins-Dirk. Really nice job by him overall, even though it was 5 runs on a night where he had to battle the heat and battle a really tough lineup in the Houston Astros. He does a nice job of getting deep into the game after some early struggles to kick things off in the first inning.
Well, this one hit down to first base. A little foot race. Keuchel wins that one away. Well, thanks to T-Mobile, fans can receive a 20% discount on tickets in the all-you-can-eat seats in the home run porch on Friday. Get your tickets in the all-you-can-eat seats for Friday, July 20th, when the Indians take on the Rangers. Use the coupon code T-Mobile at TexasRangers.com/special. Pizarro retired quickly. One away here in the 6th inning, and it brings up Adrian Beltre, who's 0 for 2. Just a 3-run game. Astros have had opportunities today. They have stranded 7 runners, including the bases loaded in the first. Rangers have not had much in the way of opportunities tonight. They have managed 2 runs on 4 hits to keep it a game. Keuchel's 2-0, and this one hit hard out to left center field. That one drops in, base hit. Well, Adrian is on. Rangers have a base runner here in the 6th inning. But now, a word from our friends at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Brings up Rougned Odor. So Beltre now 3,108 career hits, the active hit leader. And he's only 2 back of Dave Winfield now for 20th on the all-time list. Odor, both times up, is rolled out to Gurriel at first base. Rugi was featured today in our spotlight before the ball game. 6 hits in the last 3 games. Quiet so far today. Looking at that game on Sunday, it was the first time in his career that he had reached 5 times in 1 game.
The adjustments really have been made by Rougned Odor. It's been a work in progress. There's been a lot of talk about it throughout the entire season. What he was trying to improve on from last year and trying to become a little bit more disciplined and focusing on one part of the strike zone, his strength. And there were some struggles early on during that process, as you see Anthony Iapoce, the hitting coach here with the Rangers. But now starting to see some fruits of the labor for Rougned Odor. Has been really good over the last month of the season. You go back to the beginning of June, and everything seems to be coming together right now for Rougned Odor, getting on base, more discipline, and that power starting to come back.
1-2. High in the air. Hanging up there, though, and with Reddick, Springer's speed, able to get there easily. Reddick takes it. 2 away. Keuchel close it in on the 100 pitch mark. Ryan Rua now 0 for 2. Ground ball left side. Bregman, good snag. Turns around, throws to first, and Rua retired. And that's a scoreless 6th inning. So we're off to the 7th tonight. Astros leading the Rangers 5-2.
Donate $1 to support veterans.
7th inning. Austin Bibbins-Dirks done after 6. Through 114 pitches and gives way to Tony Barnett.
And there's the look at the pitch arsenal for Tony. 4-seam fastball, curveball, cutter, slider as well every once in a while on the slider for Tony's been good against both lefties and righties. 172 against lefties, 219 against righties. But this is really the month that he's been waiting for. Or maybe he doesn't realize that he has been waiting for this month. But in Tony's career, this is his 3rd year in the big leagues. He has absolutely crushed it in his first 2 seasons. In July, 15 games pitched, 23 and 2/3 innings. He has allowed just 1 run in the month of July. That's good for a 0.38 ERA. This is for a guy that's got a career 3.53 ERA. But there's been something about July, the first 2 years of his career, that he certainly would love to continue with, which has been just absolute domination.
First pitch, and Gurriel sends it deep out to right field. But no, Mazar's been busy out there, puts that one away. 1 gone. Evan Gattis now. And take a look at the in-game box score for the Houston Astros. And only Gattis and Jose Altuve without a hit so far tonight for Houston. Gattis has walked and grounded out twice. Yeah, the end.
Need a little wind here. A little gust coming through the booth. Everybody's open. Well, I guess everywhere, not just the booth. I mean, who doesn't love a little hot wind once in a while?
Goodness gracious.
It's not a summer evening.
Well, you've been known to blow a little hot wind yourself.
That is accurate.
Ball on a strike on Gattis. Ooh, this one left up. Gattis just missed it. The shield's right there, and there are 2 gone in the 7th inning.
And the one thing to keep in mind when you get those gusts of winds, and we certainly get them here in Arlington, for outfielders, make no assumptions on fly balls. Certainly Delano DeShields did a nice job of tracking that one.
Beautiful night. 40,165 on hand tonight. It was warm, 102 degrees at first pitch, but that hot breeze has brought it down to 95. And this one up and away for a ball.
What an unusual season it has been, right? Because at the beginning of the year, didn't we have a game, I think it was 42, which put us in, what, the top 5 all time at this ballpark, if I remember, as far as lowest temperatures.
Nights, yeah. Out to left field. Long run. Rua into a slide. And he got it. What a play by Rua. Took a moment for James Hoy, our third base umpire, to make the signal, but that's a catch.
Well, it was 3 flyouts in the inning, but this one, the best defensive play of the group. Excellent job here by Ryan Rua. This ball was hit hard, but it's a sinking line drive. Look at the focus right in the glove, the slide near the wall. Perfectly executed, and a big thank you from Tony Barnett.
They've tied everything down, and we will continue playing. Boy, that wind is just taken off here in the last half inning. 5-2 our score. Bottom third of the order for the Rangers. Robinson Chirinos, and he shows bunt. Takes a strike. Flags doing their best, holding on for dear life up there.
Should make for an interesting fireworks night.
Oh man.
Whenever you see a little piece of garbage like that kind of blowing around the ballpark, it reminds you when you look at old highlights, where there's just seems like there's a ton of trash. There's everywhere.
Every game. Yeah.
We used to be pretty messy as baseball fans. We've cleaned it up a little bit since.
I was thinking Candlestick Park for some reason, more than most, but you're right. Pretty much every game you watched, there's just junk flying all over the place. One-two. Keuchel strikes out Chirinos, one away here in the 7th inning.
Let's get to our Southwest Airlines player breakdown. It's been a good night for Ronald Guzman. First night off the concussion DL. You see the 2 for 2 there. Double and 2 runs. Does a nice job going to the opposite field. Then he pulls this ball down the right field line. Some really good base running against a good defender in Josh Reddick, well ahead of the throw, and then defensively makes a nice play. This was to end the 6th inning with Austin and Bibbins Dirks in there. So Ronald Guzman, as Emily talked about, was a little bit concerned. How would he react after the time off? Well, I would say that he has reacted pretty well.
Oh, goodness. 1-0. Now, as a pitcher, when it's as windy as it is right now, and it is blowing hard, I would imagine the balance up on the mound and whatnot could be a little affected, and that of all players out there, the wind might be most detrimental or annoying to a pitcher.
It can be frustrating, but then what I've learned a couple of years into my career is the wind can really be your friend. When you're younger, you love having the wind at your back, right? It makes you feel like you're throwing harder. But actually, as a pitcher, and I don't know if all pitchers feel this way, but what I learned was that I actually would rather have it in my face if I got to choose, where it was actually blowing out a little bit, and even blowing out as a lefty to right field. And the reason I like that is because it gave my two-seam fastball my changeup a little bit more to grab, and then you get more movement because of it. Just a matter of being comfortable. Now with the wind at your back, sometimes you feel like you might lose some feel for your pitches. Let's just say you're throwing a slider or a curveball and you got the wind at your back kind of pushing that ball. Well, it may not get the same break that you were getting. So I actually always preferred the wind blowing out a little bit. Now this is somewhat extreme, because if it's blowing out and it gets in the air, it's not ideal either. By the way, we saw Dallas Keuchel strike out 6 of the first 7 hitters that he faced. That strikeout of Chirinos was his first since then.
Yeah.
After that great strikeout run, Rangers did a good job of adjusting, putting the ball in play over the next couple of innings.
Ground ball, first base. Gurriel will give it to Keuchel. He'll take care of Guzman. 2 away. Time for Chevy game break. Let's check in again with Rick Renner. All right, thanks, Rick. 2 out here. And it brings up Delano DeShields. By the way, only 3 outs in the air tonight, unofficially, looking at my book. 3 outs in the air against Keuchel. I suppose that's fitting. That's his style. A lot of ground balls. He's added a lot more strikeouts in there tonight. And he gets ahead of DeShields 0-1.
And that's an encouraging sign if you're thinking about Dallas Keuchel in the second half of the season. If that ground ball rate continues to grow, because this season it's been a little bit of a struggle. Still, 21st in Major League Baseball, 56% is very good. But you think about where he was last season at 68%. That's a phenomenal number. And so the ground balls have gotten away from him a little bit. The ball has been in the air a little bit more, but not tonight here against the Rangers. And so if you're an Astros fan, and I don't know why you'd be listening to us doing the Ranger game if you were an Astro fan, but if you are, that is an encouraging sign for Dallas Keuchel.
Maybe just appreciate good TV.
Makes sense.
Lino 1 for 2. And that is outside for a ball.
And I'm sure a lot of people at home, as you kind of hear the wind and everything else, getting a little bit concerned, as you should. How are the broadcasters' hair holding up? And the answer is very average.
DeShields lines this one out to center. And Springer is there. So 1-2-3, bottom of the 7th. 8th inning on the way. It's a 5-2 ball game. Teaming up to bring you savings at the ballpark this year. Bring a Dr. Pepper can to the box office or use the online coupon code Dr. Pepper to get your tickets starting at just $11. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials to get your tickets for, let's see, July 23rd to the 26th. That series against the Oakland A's. Should be fun. A's playing good baseball these days. Now here we go. In the top of the 8th. Perovich 1 for 2. It takes one high. Well, updating the crazy weather tonight. All of a sudden the winds have come roaring in. We have seen the temperature drop 7 degrees since game time. And I was just reading something that's supposed to drop even more. But this wind is nuts. So there is a bunch of dust that has traveled more than 5,000 miles from Africa through the atmosphere and hit Texas just a couple days ago. We're getting a little Saharan sand blown around on us these days. I just saw the article on weather.com. Maybe that's why it's so windy. This wind has been brewing for days. More trash.
I'm not going to say I don't believe them because it's pretty fascinating. How do you track dust traveling 7,000 or 5,000 miles? I mean, is it just a dust cloud that you could see, you think?
It's analytics.
What about the altitude? What do you think?
20,000 feet. Yeah, they've got satellite images of it. I'm telling you, the whole thing.
It's pretty cool.
I'm not going to lie to you.
I know.
2-2 to Fedorovich. And he strikes out swinging, one away here in the 8th inning. All right, let's check in with Emily. Emily, you down there? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. As a native of West Texas, I am very conditioned for these conditions. So it is very windy. There is dirt in my teeth. Some has made its way into my eyes.
That's actually not dirt. That's Sahara dust, according to Dave.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever it is, it's not pleasant. And according to the Texas Storm Chasers, there's an outflow boundary that's moving west through the Metroplex. And wind gusts up to 35 miles out of the east are occurring. And I can verify this.
Wow.
I mean, I don't have my, radar gun out, but I think 35 is probably a safe assessment.
Well, especially once it gets in here, right? An opportunity to kind of whip around a little bit and gain some speed.
Yes, this is all true.
Traffic and weather
wipe
on
the
the
dirt
8s.
from my teeth. Strategically, we did this report off camera, fellas.
Well done, yeah. Kind of like, where's Emily? I can hear her talking, but she's not in her usual post.
You don't want to see it.
She's in the clubhouse.
1-1 pitch, and that went a little high. Marwin Gonzalez 1 for 3.
You know what? I saw Tony Barnett react earlier to a pitch that he threw, and I thought, oh, is there something bothering him there? And now you see that reaction, and I wonder if he felt something on that pitch. He's touching his elbow there, and so the Rangers are getting somebody up. But it was a pitch earlier in the first at bat. Just thought, was there a little bit of a reaction there from him? And you see him throw that one. At first you saw him kind of walking off and thinking, okay, well, did he think that pitch was a strike, or was there some frustration? No, I think he knew immediately that something happened there, and hopefully it is nothing too significant, but these pitchers know their bodies and their arms so well, and Tony certainly knows that something was wrong.
So he is done, and Alex Claudio is going to get all the time he needs to warm up. He had just stood up out of the bullpen, so Claudio coming on for the Rangers, and injury pitching change here in the 8th.
See Alex Claudio warming up, and he's going to have as much time as he needs. And take you back to the first pitch of the inning here from Tony Barnett. I thought the reaction was just a little bit strange here. You see that cutter and just react and kind of fall off to the first base side a little bit. Now Tony usually doesn't fall off that far, and then this pitch right here to Marwin Gonzalez, same kind of reaction, but even a little bit more so, and he obviously felt something and started walking toward the Ranger dugout. You can see some frustration on Tony's face, and so hopefully, you mentioned it's not as serious as it looked. These guys certainly know their bodies well. And Alex Claudio now will come on. This is the pitch arsenal for Alex. 86-mile-an-hour fastball, 70 miles an hour on the changeup, and that slider has been averaging 75 so far this season. And for Alex, continues to do a really nice job, as he always has, keeping the ball on the ground. 64% ground ball rate for him. He has dominated left-handed hitters, 208 batting average against them this season. And remember early on, though, he had a little bit of a rough outing against the Astros, and he went through the right-handed part of their lineup. And what they did so well against him was take him the other way. So that's something to keep an eye on bouncing back. That was much earlier in the year, but that outing I thought was one that was pretty impressive by the Rangers and their, by the Astros and their approach that they took to Alex Claudio. And so we'll see as he get an opportunity to first face Marwin Gonzalez, but then Kemp the lefty, but if he gets to the right, he's at the top of the order. Something to watch.
Well, looking ahead to tomorrow, which will be the final game in this series, by the way, our Ford probables, Garrett Cole, and we found that out just before the ball game today. He'll have the start for Houston. Pretty good numbers, almost 15 strikeouts per 9 against the Rangers this year. Mike Minor's last 3 starts have been doozies, 2-0, a 1.35 ERA. An hour earlier tomorrow, so our pregame begins at 5:30 here on Fox Sports Southwest. Claudio is on. He inherits a 2-1 count and pumps that one in there to Gonzalez. Even sings it 2-2.
It's always uncomfortable for a pitcher when he's got to come out of the bullpen. You have to take your warm-ups on the game mound, and you have as much time as you need. At the same time, you know everybody's kind of waiting and waiting.
Well, strike 3 called, and Gonzalez quickly dispatched here in this 8th inning, and he has a word from Marvin Hudson.
It's a good pitch from Alex Claudio. You're going to see here from the side, and whether or not Marwin Gonzalez offered, but you see the point there to the bat, which tells you that I think they called this on the pitch, even, excuse me, on the swing, even though it looked like a strike. You know what? Take that back. It was kind of a half point and could have been just part of the called 3rd strike motion for home plate umpire Marvin Hudson.
Well, 2 gone, and now Tony Kemp takes outside for a ball.
But I was mentioning that process, right? You come out, and it's always, hey, take as much time as you need. But at the same time, you're sitting there, and there's 40,000 people watching you tonight, just waiting for you to get warmed up and get ready. And more often than not, pitchers kind of rush that situation and don't take nearly the same warm-up routine that they would take if they were sitting out in the bullpen.
.2-0 to Kemp outside.
What do you think of that rule? I never understood that rule.
That you would get as much time as you need?
No. Why would you make the pitcher come out of the bullpen to do it? You're on the game mound, right? You got a chance to scuff up that game mound a little bit more.
Better doing it in the bullpen? Judge Smales would still be leaning over the railing. Well, we're waiting.
It's true. I wonder if it'd be a little bit more comfortable for relievers in those spots.
Ball 4, and Kemp walks on 4 straight. So Claudio gets a strikeout, then issues the free pass now to the top of the order for George Springer.
That's a little bit historic for Alex Claudio. First lefty he has walked this year. Kemp was the 54th lefty that he had faced. I mean, he has been incredible in those spots for the Rangers this year.
That's a wind-aided walk.
That's a good point.
Springer fouls away strike 1.
So I bring that up because I asked actually about that today. I sent an inquiry into Stats Pass. Asked them for some information about left-handed pitchers, left-handed relievers against left-handed hitters, and how far they've gone plate appearances without walks. Well, those 53 batters faced were the 8th most ever. Going back to 1913, as far back as they can research that. So that is now gone. Tom Bergmeyer in 1979 faced 102 lefties out of the bullpen, did not walk a single one.
That's pretty good.
It's unbelievable. I've walked 2 lefties in a game. 0 over 102. Wow. That's the most all time. Sean Doolittle had a nice run a few years ago. 2014, he faced 77 lefties, did not walk a single one.
Wow. It was like 2 Tommy Johns ago for him. The 1-2 pitch. Way in. So in, it was almost outside. 2-2 on Springer.
I'm really bummed. I thought, you know, this was, and I don't believe in the jinx. I know you don't either, but I really dug in on this number today for Alex, and I was like, well, that's all right. You know, this is gonna grow and grow, and maybe it's not gonna probably get to 102, although he's pretty close to facing that many lefties this year.
Oh, pick off to first, and they've got him in a rundown. Odor taking him back to first, and Claudio puts the tag on Kemp, and the inning is done. So Claudio may have walked him, but then he picks him off. Go to the bottom of the 8th, 5-2.
here at Globe Life Park, and it's a couple of home runs from the Houston Astros. They did some damage early. You saw Josh Reddick there, and then it was Tony Kemp. Both of those came in the third inning. Kemp's homer, a 2-run shot. And then on the pitching side of things, Dallas Keuchel was very good this evening for the Astros. Really bounced back from a rough one his last start against the Toronto Blue Jays. 7 strikeouts for Dallas Keuchel when it was all said and done. Just 1 walk, 7 innings, 2 runs allowed. He is now out of the game and hands things over to Chris Davinsky, the righty that comes out of the Astro bullpen. So good night for Keuchel, as you see the numbers there for Davinsky. Game number 35 for him, and he is having a fantastic season. 1.32 ERA.
Chu goes after his first offering, but turns it foul. Top of the order for Davinsky.
Really across the board, just 7 walks, 2 home runs. Sparkling 188 batting average against.
Now, defensively, a couple of changes. The outfield completely different now, as Reddick moved from right to left field, Springer from center to right field, and Jake Marisnick now in the game in center field. 2-1.
Well, that's interesting. We were talking earlier about Marisnick, and he is the best center fielder that the Astros have. I don't know if I'd look at Tony Kemp as any kind of liability in left, would you?
No, but I do think they are better defensively with this look.
No.
You know, Kemp is really fast and does a great job, but there have been times when I've watched him, I feel like maybe, you know, there's still times maybe learning some of the routes and better instincts. One fouled away on a bunt attempt by Chu. So Reddick, you know, I mean, he's very good.
They have good options, without a doubt. They are deep defensively. It's a very good defensive team are the Houston Astros. They came in the .714 defensive efficiency. That is batted balls turned into outs. That's the second highest in the game. League average .692.
Chu lofts this one down the left field line. Long run for Bregman, and that wall might have prohibited him from getting to it.
It's a tough play, and I tell you, Alex Bregman has been so good at third base that I thought he was going to be able to catch this ball. You're running a long way. The wind is blowing. You're also dealing with that short wall as you get closer, and you know it's there. I'm watching here. Well, just a little bit of that aggressiveness. You see where that ball bounced. That's something he probably could have reached, even though it was in the stands.
Now Chu wants a moment. Rangers have had just 5 hits tonight, but Dallas Keuchel no longer in the game, and Davinsky deals off the plate. That's ball 4. So Chu on for the 3rd time tonight. Walks to open this 8th inning.
The shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
Here comes Elvis Andrus. We did get, by the way, an update on Max Stassi, who is starting at catcher tonight for the Astros. He left the game with a right hand contusion. They took x-rays. They came back negative, and at least for the moment they're considering him day to day. Andrews turns that one foul for a strike.
We're always just guessing, but based on kind of how that went down last night, you would think he's going to wake up pretty sore tomorrow. Probably not a great chance that he would play unless he's feeling better than expected. When he did have the laces of the baseball imprinted on his wrist, I would assume that means some soreness tomorrow for him, and probably some black and blue.
I kind of caught him in a softer spot there in that underbelly of the wrist. Well, a man on, and Elvis 0 for 3 so far in this one. Davinsky with that high set and a little bit tight. By the way, Chu with that walk, we mentioned he's been on 3 times tonight. His on base streak extended that earlier tonight to 43 games. But of the 43 games, Chu has reached base safely 95 times. That's pretty crazy.
That's amazing.
He'll draw a throw. Elvis pulls back from that one and disagrees with the judgment of Marvin Hudson.
Elvis Andrews thinking about bunting for a hit here. Whenever you bunt for a hit, you want to be able to stay disciplined and not chase anything that is out of the strike zone. And Elvis thought that pitch was a ball. That's why he pulled back. And so you see the frustration on his face when that was called a strike.
Ooh. 2-2. Boy, it seems like since he has come back off the disabled list, he has seen at least one of those per game.
That's a four-seam fastball. Good look at the grip, but it's just really good run on it. Davinsky falls off the mound toward the first base side. He's got kind of an unusual delivery, and so part of that is what generates that good arm side run. But that one got away from me a little bit.
2-2. Nice play down there. Attaboy. Brought the glove. Really great reaction to make that play.
That's why you bring your glove. So you out there with your bare hands breaking fingers. That's fantastic. Sharp line drive. Get up. Full extension.
You might have saved a life.
Save some people behind you. Nice job. USSSA night here at the ballpark as well. There was a parade of youngsters making their way around the ballpark in their uniforms.
They swarmed to the foul ball quickly down there.
They got blown off pretty fast too. There you go. Some youth baseball players. And cool too, like amateur levels, the nicknames for the team, not just the Rangers or the Astros, but the Hitman.
The Raptors.
That was sweet, that jersey he had.
Another foul ball. Stays 2-2 on Elvis. Get some good hacks in here. He's protecting some good pitches. Andrews looking for a ball he could drive. Working on a 6-game hitting streak. That hangs in the balance here. 5-2. And though this one has felt like it has been all Astros all night, it's still a very reachable game. Potential tying run is in the on deck circle. It's a full count. So Davinsky walked Chu. And now a full count as Elvis continues to make him work. Their best RBI man waiting on deck there, Nomar Mazara. So a big pitch right here. And a flare out to right field, drops in, base hit. Chu stops at second, and indeed the Rangers get the potential tying run to the plate.
Well, what an at-bat from Elvis Andrews, the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Good look at the split finger. This is a good pitch. It's got good depth. It's near the bottom of the zone. You obviously don't want to throw anything below the zone at 3-2 count, take that chance of the walk. And it's a really nice job by Elvis to hit this ball the other way and rewarded in a tough at-bat.
Well, conversation out of the mound. And now Brent Strom making a long, slow walk out there. This one's just about strategy and approach against Nomar Mazara. And Davinsky has had good numbers against Nomar. Mazara's just 1 for 11 against him. So a matchup that would appear to favor Davinsky. But 2 men on, nobody out here in the 8th inning. Rangers have not had a whole lot of serious offensive opportunity tonight. This would represent quite probably the best they've had all evening. With the heart of the order coming. Table set with a couple of base runners and nobody out. The Rangers are 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position tonight. Pulled off that one. Strike 1.
So you see the good changeup there from Davinsky. Get a good look at it. It's got that kind of split change, split finger action where it's got some good downward movement to it. And that's probably a big reason why he has been excellent against lefties this year. 174 batting average against Davinsky for the lefties. Back-to-back changeups right there. This is kind of fascinating too. You don't see this too often, but he has actually faced more lefties than righties this season, as has Will Harris.
Well, in part, they've had some trouble with guys like Tony Sipp. They haven't had real good left-handed work out there, although Sipp has been a lot better lately. 0-2. And a swing and a miss, so he takes care of Mazzara again. One away here in the 8th inning.
Frustrating at bat for Nomar Mazzara, who's been so good with runners in scoring position. There's a good look at the fastball up above the zone with 2 strikes. Nomar trying to protect, but he could not get on top of the pitch. You're going to see the bat go right underneath the baseball. He saw 2 really good changeups and then an elevated fastball.
So here's Beltre. 2 at second, Andrus at first. And Adrian takes low for a ball. Base hit his last time up. He's 2 hits shy now of Dave Winfield for 20th place on the all-time hit list. 3,108 in Beltre's wonderful career. And it's 2-0. He's got himself into an advantageous count here. Now he too has struggled against Davinsky. 1 for 8 against Davinsky in his career. Well, might get something good right here. Low, 3-0. So here you go. You look at those ahead of Adrian. Winfield, 41-10, A-Rod, Tony Gwynn, and Robin Yount. Ball 4, bases are loaded. The tying runs are on here in the bottom of the 8th.
Interesting there from Davinsky. He certainly wasn't pitching around Adrian Beltre, but he wasn't going to give in either. And it seems like now A.J. Hinch is going to make a change with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the 8th inning.
Rougned Odor due up, but A.J. Hinch will have to take out his right-hander. So Davinsky 2 walks and a single. Leaves the bases loaded with 1 out in the 8th inning, and the Rangers trying to mount a comeback here tonight. And Tony Sipp, the man the Astros have called upon here.
The overall number is very good for Sipp this season. This will be game number 24 for him. 18 strikeouts in 19 2/3. But here's what matters more. Against lefties this year, a 114 batting average against. And that is why he is in there right now. You see the repertoire of the fastball, slider, and split finger for Sipp. But he's got Rougned Odor right now, who this year has been much improved against lefties. He came into this one hitting .310 against southpaws.
Just one out. 2 at third. Andrews at second, and Adrian Beltre, the man at first. Rangers down by 3. We get an update, by the way, on Tony Barnett, a right shoulder strain, and he'll have a further examination tomorrow. In there for a strike to Odor. Rugi 0 for 3 today. You mentioned the improvements he's made against left-handed pitching. Lately has been swinging the bat as well as he has all year. In fact, his game on Sunday may be the best all-round start to finish, and maybe the best he's looked offensively, certainly this year. You could argue in his career, reached base 5 times in that game. Couple of walks, 3 hits, stole a base. Big strike 2.
There are the splits. I mentioned a .310 batting average against the lefties. Much improved for Odor. But you talked about what he has done lately. Go back to the beginning of June. He's hitting .284 with a .385 on base percentage. So the confidence is there. The patience has been there for Odor as of late. But he's in a big spot here with the bases loaded and now down 0-2.
We'll ask for a little break. Lefty on lefty. And he's watched 2 good pitches. Now we'll have to fight off anything close. Hits this ball on the ground. Diving stop, Gurriel. They'll go to second to get 1 out there. A run scores, and Gurriel saved possibly another run, and maybe a disastrous inning for the Astros. That is a big-time defensive play.
Mention how good this team has been defensively, and this could be a game changer when it's all said and done, because if this ball gets into the outfield and is base hit, it's probably 2 runs, and it's certainly not the out that the Astros end up getting on this play. Look at that full extension to his right to get up and make a good throw, and Marwin Gonzalez knew they had no chance at turning 2. When you think about having the base runner in front of you as well, the concentration that it takes to make that play, very impressive in that spot by Gurriel.
So Sip got his man. It's a 2-run game, and he leaves for Hector Rondon in the 8th. And Joey Gallo going to pinch hit here for Ryan Rua. So they've got some thunder to bring off the bench. The Astros, meanwhile, give the baseball to Hector Rondon.
Hector Rondon has been very good for the Astros lately. He actually has recorded 5 of their last 6 saves. You see the overall numbers: 38 strikeouts to 9 walks, very good ERA. at 1.50.
Third pitcher of the inning. Rangers have plated a run. They have Andrus at third, Odor at first, and Gallo takes very high for a ball. .97 miles per hour with that fastball. You see Gallo's power numbers, 20 homers. He's homered a couple of times already on this homestand. Big swing and a miss. 1-1.
See Joey Gallo get a hold of a good fastball. That's 98 miles an hour at the top of the zone, but so difficult to come off the bench as a pinch hitter. Joey's done it 16 times in his career. He's 2 for 13 with 3 walks.
The righty's 1-1, way inside. Look out, 98 miles per hour. Rondon, 6'3", 230 pounds, hard thrower from Venezuela. 30 years old. Added to this Astros bullpen in the offseason. He was signed as a free agent in December, right around the time of the winter meetings. Been with the Chicago Cubs each of the last 5 seasons and done a great job for them in the National League. It's 2-1. Runner goes from first. This one fouled back our direction. And off the hands of a fan just below us. And a decent look. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rugi was 1-0 on that last one. Big shift on the infield. He goes again. This one, and this one lifted over to the left side. Out of play. Remember, the regular season started here against Houston. And in Gallo's first at bat of the year, Houston used 4 outfielders. And everybody else on the right side, but really not even on the infield. They were in the grass in the outfield. And it started the conversation that has really kind of dominated things this year for Gallo. This is a lot more traditional looking. And another foul ball, stays 2-2.
Yeah, it's interesting when that happened at the time, the conversations that followed, as you mentioned. But, you know, Joey Gallo hits the ball so high in the air that, to me, it didn't make a ton of sense to use 4 outfielders in that spot. Now, if you got a guy that hits a lot of hard line drives and can go gap to gap, yeah, that could maybe be something that would come into play. But it's interesting when it's a really big at bat like this one. And you got Joey Gallo sitting here representing the go-ahead run, that they would not go to 4 outfielders. And so I kind of believe, obviously, they've shifted from the philosophy on why they're doing that, unless it's just Hector Rondon specific and based on the pitcher that he's facing.
Another foul ball. Boy, Rugi getting in some really good leg work out here. Back and forth he goes with each of these pitches. Rondon doesn't seem particularly concerned with Rugi. I'll take his lead again. This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat to Gallo. Now he throws over there.
It's been a good at bat here so far for Joey Gallo. 7 pitches and some tough pitches that he has fouled off.
You run it again, and another foul ball. Will have to come back.
Oh my. It's been all fastballs so far from Rondon, averaging, well, I shouldn't say averaging, but anywhere from 97 to 100 miles per hour. I could have said like averaging 98.3. You would have totally believed me.
I would have questioned you, actually.
You would have. I should have kept going with it. Blow it.
This will be the 35th pitch of the inning combined. 9th of this at bat, but not before they check in again with Odor. Rugi's been running the bases a lot more effectively lately. Has 4 steals now for the year. Great crowd tonight waiting for fireworks afterward, and we've got a great ball game. Run in already. There he goes again. That's low in the dirt, and they will have no throw, and Odor's in scoring position. That's a big stolen base. Not that Gallo produces many base hits. I mean, he's not a real singles hitter, but a base hit to the outfield. Should score 2 here and tie the game.
I mean, he represents a tying run, and so the idea of getting in scoring position, you feel good about it. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. You also got to think about the idea of ground ball that goes for an error, whatever it may be. There's Rugi looking in and getting that bag easily after the ball was in the dirt.
10th pitch of the at-bat. Foul ball back our way again.
So check this out with the shift right now, and you're going to see Rougned Odor, especially once Rondon comes set. He gets a monster lead. He'll easily score on any base hit in this situation. Look at that lead.
Another foul back out of play. This will be the 12th pitch of the at-bat forthcoming. What an AB here from Joey Gallo.
It's been fantastic, and I mentioned, trying to come up in these situations off the bench, very difficult for any hitter to do. You'll see them swinging pretty early at bats because they don't want to get deep in the at bat, because they worry about striking out and really feeling like in that flow of the game. Joey's been great so far. I'd love to see this get paid off with a big hit.
Off the plate, ball 4. They're loaded up. It wasn't that close. I understand Rondon begging for it, but I don't think that was very close.
Well, let's take you pitch by pitch, and there are a lot of them. 12 when it was all said and done. Great job by Joey Gallo coming off the bench. He was seeing a lot of heat. You see the fastballs one after another. 98 miles an hour. This one's going to be at 99. He's fouling these pitches off. 99 again, staying alive and doing in between, of course, some pickoffs that he had to deal with as well. He saw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. There's one right there that he fouled off. This was a slider in the dirt that Rougned Odor stole on. Here's 98 fouled off. Here's 100 miles an hour fouled off. And then finally 99 off the plate. And it was definitely a ball. Hector Rondon wanted it in the worst way, but you see it there clear as day. Our Fox Tracks had it off the plate, and it indeed was off the plate. Wow, what an at-bat.
That's pretty big time stuff. A 12-pitch walk. They are loaded up. That brings up Robinson Chirinos. Robbie in the last 8 games with runners in scoring position, a .538 average with a couple of home runs. Rangers have 1 grand slam this year. And there's strike 1 on Chirinos. Not a significant number of at-bats. But Chirinos 2 for 3 against Rondon. Might suggest that he sees him okay. Might be that he got lucky a couple of times. 1 run across. Rangers' 3 runs have come in 3 different innings. Beauty. Just missed.
Wow.
1-1. I thought that was a strike.
So did I, and I think even Robinson Chirinos is looking back to double check. And what I was going to say is that location doesn't matter as much. When you throw 99 miles an hour, as long as you got the right break, even if you miss over the plate a little bit, you see Robbie there trying to get out in front of that fastball, and the slider locked him up, but no one was called the ball. But the Rangers and Robinson Chirinos will certainly take it.
1-1. In the dirt. Nobody going anywhere. Oh, they said he went. Wow. They check down with Quinn Walcott at first base, and he rings up Chirinos for a strike here. Let's see. Yeah, it's a good call.
Probably a good call. You get yourself in that 1-1 count. Now, this is interesting because I'm not sure the home plate umpire, Marvin Hudson, ever asked for an appeal.
Oh, so it doesn't matter.
You don't react to what the catcher does. The catcher's not allowed to ask for an appeal. The home plate umpire has to make that decision. So let's take another look here and see what exactly is going on here. All right, there's the slider. It's down in the dirt. He asked for help.
He did.
So I don't understand what A.J. Hinch is arguing about.
That's a strike call. What is the issue here?
Unless he can't believe that it wasn't strike 3. Maybe he was still worked up about the pitch before, but it seems like that'd be kind of an odd time to argue it.
Oh, it's quite possible that Hinch lost track. Just assumed that one was a strike earlier and assumed we were on 2 strikes, I guess. Well, we'll have to find out later. Any case, 1-2. Torinos hits this one high in the air down the left field line, but foul. Oh man!
I gotta tell you what. I mean, Robinson Chirinos stays back just a little bit more on this 2-strike slider. You're looking at a huge grand slam. But if I'm in the other dugout right now, and I got a right-handed reliever who throws 100 miles an hour, I'm questioning why he has just thrown 3 sliders in a row to Robinson Chirinos, especially in the strike zone with that last one that hung up there.
And here it comes. A swing and a miss, out in the dirt. Step on the plate, and that will do it. The Rangers leave them loaded in the 8th inning. Wow, Rondon gets out of it. Rangers do score a run, however. We go to the 9th in a 2-run game. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. It's a 2-run game, 9th inning. Top of the order coming for the Houston Astros. New pitcher for the Rangers as Jesse Chavez will take over here.
It's been a good year for Jesse Chavez. He has really put himself in a position to take on some more meaningful innings and some shorter outings for the Rangers. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Slider's been at 85. Changeup 86, and that curveball averaging 77 miles an hour when he does use it.
Gallo stays in the game in left field. Trying to get that arm loose. Meanwhile, George Springer, leadoff man for the Astros, does have a hit tonight. Balls have been very scarce for him lately, and he takes strike 1. Chavez working with a little tempo in this 9th inning. He's been dialed in. He's loving the new glasses, no longer worried with the contacts. There's those prescription shades, the white ones at home, darker frames on the road, and drops that one in the dirt. It's 3-1. And Jesse's taken on higher and higher leverage spots as this season has worn on. Now the Rangers bullpen without the services of Chris Martin tonight. Martin was optioned out before today's ball game. Full count now on Springer. It's been Tony Barnett, Alex Claudio, now Chavez here. Springer lifts this one down the right field line, but that will end up among the fans.
It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Tony Barnett leaving this game. You mentioned the strained shoulder for him. If that requires a DL trip, we very well may see Chris Martin right back here tomorrow. Anytime a guy gets optioned down, he has to stay down for 10 days unless there is an injury.
Well, 3 guys crossed off there in one fell swoop, but still plenty of arms out there. Diekman, Calla, Leclerc, and Moore. Another pop foul over to the right side. Springer has been in just a horrific slump lately. His manager trying to do whatever he can to shake him out of it, including a couple of days off lately. And A.J. Hinch, he's down a couple other men too. Correa and McCann on the DL. There's ball 4. So Springer is on for the 3rd time tonight. Well, the next Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Night will be Wednesday, July 25th. Oakland A's will be in town. A 7:05 game on Wednesday the 25th. So come on out, enjoy those ballpark hot dogs for just $1 each. Go to TexasRangers.com for tickets or call 972-RANGERS. So man on, and now a liner, second base. Odor back to first. Double play. Wow, nice quick reactions by Odor. I think Springer felt like he had plenty of time to get back.
And we'll see here. A.J. Hinch has got the hand up, and Alex Bregman's had some bad luck with a couple of balls that he has hit hard that have turned into outs. But nice play by Odor, and a good catch here by Guzman. He didn't have time to get himself in that position to try to stretch. He had to find the bag. The ball was already on the way, and so you just get concerned with catching the ball first, and it does appear that he is out. But no, they are actually going to ask that umpires take another look at this. I thought they had him. Let's see here. That's really close.
It's close, but I think that's going to hold. I think he will remain out. But it's your A.J. Hinch. You figure, well, I haven't used my challenge. It's the 9th inning. We'll go ahead and give us our first Ford replay review tonight. So this one back in the hands of Major League Baseball at Chelsea Market in New York. Where they take a look. Fans in-house taking a look. Rugi reacting. Yeah, I got him. I think Springer knows.
It wasn't enough time for Guzman to get himself in that position where he could get his left foot on the bag and then try to stretch. The ball was already on the way. Some bad luck here for Bregman. Remember that line drive that he hit the left field, and a really nice play by Ryan Rua. He hit that ball at 99 miles an hour, and then this one he hit real well. And yeah, I think there's plenty there to uphold that call in the field.
Certainly not clear and convincing to me that they were wrong. First base umpire Quinn Walcott on the left there. And there we get the official call. With Kellogg, our crew chief, and second base umpire signaling that the call stands. So 2 out, bases empty, and it brings up Jose Altuve. Rangers started the comeback in the bottom of the 8th. Scored a run, but left them loaded. And now Chavez trying to keep that momentum on their side if he can turn Altuve back quickly here and get his team right back to the plate. Altuve 0 for 3 today with a sacrifice bunt. Ball had some wicked movement. 0 for 3 has crushed Altuve's average, pulled it all the way down to 335. Another great year for the second baseman. 3-0. He's taken, and that's a strike. Altuve, the defending American League MVP. And he did something last year. He did a lot of things last year, but he joined Willie Mays as the only players to hit .330 with 20 or more homers and 30 or more steals in back-to-back years. Only two who have ever done it. Mays did it in 57 and 58. 3-2 pitch, and he swings and misses. Strike three. Altuve strikes out, and Chavez continues his hot ways. And he gives the Rangers a chance now in the bottom of the ninth inning. Guzman, the Shields, and Chu coming.
Rally in the bottom of the ninth. We got Rangers Live presented by Bios by Frontier on deck at the Rebecca Creek Saloon. Mark McLemore, Darren Oliver, Rick Renner here. Guys, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I'm going to talk about this Rangers comeback that we're getting ready to see here in the bottom of the ninth inning. It's going to happen.
Wow, and I'm going to talk about how Bibbenderks kind of stayed in there and gave us a chance to win the ball game tonight.
And we'll look forward to hearing from Jeff Bannister and so much more. That's after the game. Dave and CJ, it's yours.
All right, thanks, Rick. So here we go. Ronald Guzman takes a strike from Hector Rondon. He got the strikeout of Chirinos to get out of that bases loaded jam, and he just about hit Guzman right there. 1-1.
Pretty effective pitch after a slider that was right at the bottom of the zone for a strike. He comes back with the fastball, and it's 97 miles an hour, and you see Guzman having to get out of the way in a hurry.
Broken bat roller, first base side. Gurriel goes to the bag. One away.
By the way, how impressive that strikeout was for Chavez of Jose Altuve. How many times do you think Jose Altuve has swung and missed back-to-back pitches just in general, but in a 3-1 count at that? That's not an easy thing to do. That was a big strikeout. You just don't see him swinging and missing a ton to begin with, but he did it on back-to-back pitches. It's an excellent job from Jesse Chavez.
Jesse really right now going about as well as a guy can go as the Shields takes a strike. Leno had a double earlier, 1 for 3. Up and away. Well, Rangers need one base runner. Give themselves a shot. I mentioned earlier, Rondon has been a guy they have used lately to finish off these close games. Ken Giles, another guy, has closed some games for the Astros, but Rondon sort of insidious in the way he is taking more and more of those opportunities.
Yeah, 5 of the last 6 saves have gone to him. I think there's a change here without a doubt, and we saw what happened with Ken Giles last year, regular season, did a pretty nice job, but come postseason time, he really lost the confidence of his manager in A.J. Hinch, and that's when we saw Lance McCullers Jr. And then we saw, of course, Charlie Morton as well in the World Series. And so the postseason, things changed a little bit for the Astros, and it appears now here in the middle of the season that they're making a change. But they have the kind of rotation again this year. I mean, now you add Garrett Cole. They are so deep with power arms in their rotation. You could see where one of their starters could be in the bullpen and play a big role in this postseason.
Yeah.
I mean, Colin McHugh is in their bullpen. Colin McHugh could probably go start on a lot of other teams right now. He's having a really nice year in that bullpen. He's got a good curveball. Always has had that good curveball. And I couldn't believe when Jeff Blum mentioned this to us today. I think it was Jeff that said it, but they've only used 5 starters.
Yeah.
This season. We're almost to the All-Star break, and they have only used 5 starters.
The field strikes out swinging, 2 away. The Rangers are down to their final out tonight. HOU has been on 3 times. A couple of walks, a base hit. They really need him to get on here. 2 for 7 in his career against Rondon. Also has walked against him. A little off of him. And he takes a strike. Dallas Keuchel went 7 innings, struck out 7, allowed a couple of runs on 5 hits. It's been Davinsky, Sip, and Rondon since. 1-1. So Rangers down to their final strike. They had won 5 consecutive series. But because it's a 2-game series, the Rangers would have to sweep these 2 to continue that little stretch. This one up the middle. Diving stop. And Gonzalez to first. It gets by. And then a collision at the bag. 2 is safe. That'll be a base hit for 2. Marwin Gonzalez, great play to get to that ball and get a throw off. But a tough break there as 2 hopefully all right. Had he not collided, might have gotten to second base.
You see him rip this ball right back up the middle. HOU is so good against high velocities pitchers, and this is a tremendous play by Gonzalez, who almost makes this out. Not that tough of a ball to pick, but you watch Gurriel and HOU collide here. Now, there's no interference. You're going to see right here. Watch this. There's no interference because there's no attempt by HOU to try to get to second base. You mentioned could he have gotten there? He could have, but you have to attempt it. If there's not a play, and then an umpire's discretion will come in a little bit. But because there was no attempt by HOU to go to second base, he is not awarded second base, even though there was contact with the field.
And not that it would really matter that much anyway, because HOU scoring on a hit or whatever doesn't really make that big a difference. You need the next guy, Elvis Andrus or whomever, to score. 2 away. Elvis had a hit his last time up, but swings and misses at strike 1.
See a little smirk on Elvis's face. He's hitting fastball. He's looking for something to drive, try to tie this game up with 1 swing. But we have seen Rondon go to that slider and do it pretty effectively so far in this outing.
In the dirt, 1-1. Rangers with 7 hits in this one. They've scored 3 times. The opportunities have come late in the game. They've left 7 on. And they're now down to their final strike.
Elvis has got to be thinking to himself, I know you have 98 to 100. You've shown it tonight. He hasn't seen one of those fastballs yet. Now he's in a 2-strike count. So you're trying to protect against the good slider, the good fastball, and elevating the fastball. It's really tough to get to.
The dirt. This one gets away, but and Chu not going anywhere. Not just another game where the Rangers, though they have trailed the entire way tonight, have managed to make it interesting at the end. Got a run in the 8th, loaded the bases. Now in the 9th, get that tying run to the plate. They've had some fairly dramatic finishes this year, hoping for another one here. The 2-2 and up the middle. Easy bounce though for Altuve, and they'll go the easy way to get Chu. That one will end it. 5-3 the final score. Is Marlin in a little trouble there with Chu? I get that. I hope that was just a friendly love tap. Ball game over. 5-3 the final today. Astros led all the way, and the Rangers just couldn't quite muster those tying runs. So's staying tuned. Rick Renner, Mark McLemore, and Darren Oliver back in the studio, ready to break this one down for you tonight. For CJ Nitkowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond. Please stay with us. More coverage of Rangers baseball right after this.